gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
This is ESPN 102.5 The Game. From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne. Broadcasting on Alexa
I appreciate that.
and other smart speakers. 102.5 and 106.3 Terang, it's a high fly ball.
The leading receiver
Awesome
in
game 7.
Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Informative conversation while you work. This is the DDC. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
And again, Thursday morning to you, and welcome into the DDC. Here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game, and the Game Nashville app. Darren McFarland, Willie Daunic in the saddle with you for the next 4 hours. Max Hers is along for the ride as well. Hillside Medical Game Studios.
Hello.
Lots to get into today. There you go. That was Max. He's real. He is real.
I'm not real.
No, you are. Ryan McDonough will join us in the third hour of the program. So our first chat with the new Predators defenseman coming up. It'll probably be around 12:15. Our last hurrah for the season with Elliot Friedman. He is so kind to give us not only his time throughout the course of the season, but throughout the course of the playoffs and all the way through free agency. And here we are. So today will be it, and then he'll go away until things crank back up, which won't be that long. He'll come back in October. So look forward to that. Elliot Friedman at 1 o'clock. Jack Frazier at 10:30. Jay Fresh is what we affectionately call him, and a lot of people. And Robbie Stanley in the second hour. We're going to get into a variety of things with him. He went on a little bit of a rant, something that I reached out to these guys last night and asked about. I was watching the Nashville SC game and had some questions on some things that were circulating on Twitter. So we'll do all that at 11 o'clock. After we got off the air yesterday, it actually started. The keg stands started in Columbus, Ohio when we were on the air in the final hour, and they were clearly doing a bar crawl. For all those people out there, have you ever done a bar crawl? I'll just start with the show, and then we'll ask the listeners. Anybody ever done a bar crawl?
Oh, yes.
Willie, you know what that is? Oh, you have?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I did not expect you to be a yes.
What?
Oh,
why?
Talk to me. I want to hear this. When? Last week. Cool. No, I'm just kidding.
It was a little bit
College?
further back.
20s?
Actually, the last time I did that would have been post 20s. It would have been. I hope I can reveal this without.
Time
having
has
him-
elapsed. Yeah, no, you're good.
Yeah, I think the statute of limitations.
Yes.
Mitch Light's bachelor party.
Okay.
We did a pub crawl downtown, which was not quite as raucous as it is today, just wall-to-wall people, but it was coming along. This would have been late 90s,
Okay.
maybe early No, I'm thinking late 90s. Late 90s, 98, I think is the year he got married, if I want to guess. Still married to Heather Light, outstanding family. But we had a competition. It was golf. You had a scorecard, and you had to have a beer at a series of establishments along Broadway and such. And I'm happy to say that Bruce Elder and I scored very, very well. My roommate, former co-captain of the '93 SEC champion Commodores, And he played like a champion that night. So did I.
Oh,
We were
wow.
outstanding.
Outstanding.
Yeah. So that was my last pub crawl, I think.
I am impressed. I really thought you would be probably a no, considering that is just not your style.
I think no. See, what that's a misnomer.
But a bachelor party makes sense. I mean, I get
But
that.
that's a misnomer. That's not my style. You act like you've never seen me out having a few beers. You've never seen that.
I have.
Ask.
I have.
You can ask my road dogs on the
Hey,
the Pred circuit.
look, one of the funniest conversations, and I'm not going to tell the story, but I'm just going to leave it where people are going to get mad for just putting that out there and not finishing the story. But Chase is my witness. One of the best interactions with David Poyle in one of our weekly Tuesdays when he showed up on site was after his hit with us standing around talking, and you were brought up in that conversation. And I've got to be honest, that one still puts a smile on my face every time I think about that.
No, I can tell you exactly. I can remember exactly what you're talking about. My birthday happened to fall on a night that we arrived in Vancouver.
So if you want to tell
and
go
you
ahead.
can just put two and two together. I mean, we arrived in Vancouver. It was my birthday. And everyone was like, "Hey, Will, it's your birthday." Not that you need an excuse when you go to Vancouver to have some fun, but that was the case.
Look, so you've put it out there. I mean, David was just concerned.
Yeah,
that
David was concerned.
You went off the grid for 24 hours.
He did kind of say, "You okay?"
And I was like, wait a minute, what? So I was like, no, you're going to tell us what you're talking about. And he's like, well, celebrate his birthday, and he seemed to go off the grid for a good while. Nobody could find him.
I'm just thankful it was an off day the next day.
Well, of course. So, all right. So let's find out from young Max Hers. Bar crawl?
Have I ever been on one? Yes, but Willie's sound more fun.
What? Wait a minute. You didn't have fun on your bar crawl?
Well, it wasn't Mitch Light's bachelor party.
Okay, but was it a bachelor party?
No, I've actually never been to a bachelor party.
Oh, wow. Man, you're sheltered, young Max. You've got more things to do in life, more things to accomplish.
I need some of my friends to go get married, I believe is what
you
said.
certainly do.
You're about to hit the green zone there.
Yeah,
You're getting to the age they're going to start coming fast and
the next
furious.
5 years. You're going to get a lot.
Yeah.
You're going to get a lot of it. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm saving up for that, both money and energy.
I do think that's important to do both because you will spend a lot of both. You're like, you're getting married where? Like, this is my best buddy, but you're asking me to go to, like, for me, it was we had to get our people to go to Lexington, Virginia, which is not the easiest place to get to in the middle of nowhere, pretty much. But they got there, and fun was had. Did you ever have that, Darren? Like, you're getting married. Great. When's the wedding? Oh, yeah, good. That'll work. And then, hey, we're getting married in Sweden. What?
I have had that. Not Sweden, but
Yeah,
I have had
Bermuda. We're getting married in Bermuda.
Oh.
Yeah, on this remote island. It'll be great. How the heck am I going to get there? I'm 25 years old. I'm working 2 jobs.
Yeah, in my 20s, I didn't have
Yeah.
nickels to rub together.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Did either of you see the Curb Your Enthusiasm episode in either of the last 2 seasons with the destination wedding?
Oh, yes.
I believe they went to Mexico.
Yeah.
So we actually found out on the Sports Illustrated Media podcast, which is Jimmy Traina. He had Erin Andrews on the last couple of weeks, and she said that multiple of the bits in that episode were based off of her and Jarrett Stoll's wedding.
Is that right?
And Larry is friends with Jarrett Stoll, so he was there.
Okay.
Including the part about how one of them had booked a private plane to go, and everyone was like, oh, we're all going to the same place. Let's all take the private plane.
Yeah, I did see that one. Yeah, and what could go wrong? Well, just watch the episode. That can happen.
It can happen. So, yeah. So, apparently, they were doing a bar crawl yesterday in Columbus. Or maybe they went to a Columbus Clippers game. I remember one time I had the bright idea on a guy's trip to Chicago. We were at Wrigley Field at a Cubs game on a Saturday afternoon game. I mean, what could go wrong? And I was like, man, well, this is awesome, man. We're at a Cubs-Cardinals game. It's packed. We've got great seats. We're at Wrigley. It's a great day. It's a guy's trip. Let's do a beer and inning. Yeah, that was a mistake. That was a huge mistake. So maybe they did the beer and inning.
Beer and
game at
inning.
the
That's a
Columbus
tough.
Clippers.
That's a tough assignment.
Oh, if the last out is recorded, and the inning is completed, and you have not finished, and your cup is not completely emptied, you double up the next inning. Of course, that never happened, but that were the rules that were laid down.
I mean, that sounds like a great idea at the beginning of the game.
It sounded on paper like everybody was when I suggested, it was like, yeah, let's do it. And by the end, well, like after, many times throughout that trip and beyond that trip, it was like, that was a really bad idea. That was really dumb. But boy, did we have fun. Boy, did we have fun. That was one of the most fun I ever had. Definitely in Chicago. It was the most fun I ever had in a day. Boy, we kept going after the Cubs game. It was fun. But it was a bad idea. Maybe they were doing that at the Columbus Clippers game. Maybe it started as a bar crawl. Maybe they ended up at a Clippers game and did a beer and inning. But I don't know what's going on with the Blue Jackets. But just when you thought the wackiness was completed, with Eric Goodbranson signing a 4-year, $16 million deal, oh no. Johnny Gaudreau says, you know what? I know nobody wants to go to Columbus. Everybody's like, get me out of here. I want to go there. I know Calgary offered me $80+ million, but you know what? I'll go there for less. Yeah, I'll sign up for that.
That was one where I did have to pull out the old math chart that I had for Philip Forsberg, and I asked myself, it was like, how much money is he leaving on the table? But you and I talked about this. It seemed like the signals were saying very much like Ryan Suter. He wasn't saying, I'm out of Calgary. And really, if Calgary could do it all over again, maybe they press him and say, look, I'm getting signals here. I mean, don't you think they're having that conversation in Calgary today? Like, hey, the signals were out there, man. It wasn't about money. Like, everybody knows the money, right? It doesn't take a math genius to say the guy was leaving a ton of money on the table.
I don't think you need to get the calculator out for that one.
It was an easy one. Everybody knew it. But what is a worthy question today is, why didn't they get it sooner? Because it seems in retrospect that it wasn't like Johnny Gaudreau was wrestling over it. Maybe he was. He's human. But the signals from all along were like, kind of looks like he wants to get out of there. It doesn't it sound very Ryan Suter-ish in the modern times with the current CBA?
Yes.
Big time, right?
Well, without knowing their thoughts up there, not knowing if, they were thinking, hey, yeah, I think he's coming back. Yeah, I think we're good. I think we're not going to lose him. He's not ultimately. Look, we're going to make him an offer he can't refuse, and ultimately he's going to be here. I don't know. I don't know what tea leaves they were reading. I don't know how they felt.
Now,
Clearly, they didn't move him, right? They didn't move him. They didn't get anything for him, and so he walks. They get nothing.
Yeah, and I don't think they might have gotten a draft pick from somebody that wanted to take a crack at exclusive window. That's about all you could have done after this. You were going to trade him during the season. There was just no way.
Right.
But I do think they could have planned and been ready for free agency on day one by moving some stuff around if they knew that Gaudreau wasn't coming back. Instead, they kind of got left at the altar the day before free agency started, and I'm sure they had to scramble. And they've got a very complicated situation going on with Tkachuk and a couple other restricted free agents. So their whole plan A, was blown to smithereens, and now let's see what their plan B. They're probably just working on plan B right now. Or, the reality of plan B. They're probably just opening up the book on plan B if they had one.
So there was a lot of big names that we talked about for 4 hours yesterday that have found homes since we got off the air. So we will talk about that. How does that affect the Predators? Also, Andy Strickland has struck right before the show on Twitter with a tweet about the Predators. Oh, are they shopping Forsberg? I don't know. We'll find out. We'll read that tweet when we come back. Jack Frazier at the bottom of the hour. You're listening to the DDC here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, Willie Daunic here. Join us Friday at 10 a.m. as Chris Mason and I call the 2022 Preds Prospect Showcase as the future Preds go toe-to-toe at Ford Ice Center Bellevue. Coverage starts at 10 before puck drop at 10:30. Right here on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Joe Rexford here, inviting you to step up to the tee and take a swing at betting the PGA Tour on FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet the Tour with a no-sweat first bet. If you don't win, You get up to $1,000 back in free bets. I'd be looking at Rory McIlroy for sure, and I'd be looking at FanDuel Sportsbook because you got great promotions every day. You got a safe and secure app. You get paid fast. It's very easy to use. Very important for people like me. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. You download the FanDuel Sportsbook app, sign up using promo code Joe102, get started with your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. FanDuel Sportsbook is an official betting operator of the PGA Tour. Again, that's promo code Joe102. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
To know what makes Genesis Diamonds so special, you have to understand its origin. Back when owner Boaz Ramon used to sell diamonds only to jewelry stores.
I was selling to more than 700 jewelry stores. I didn't like what I saw.
What he saw in retail stores was grossly inflated prices, limited selection, pricing games, and a sales process that put the customer at a disadvantage. And it motivated this wholesaler to start his own retail revolution.
My passion was to build a place where the customer is going to be very informed. We're not going to hide any information from him. We're not going to have to get diamonds from other people. We're not going to mark up our prices to mark them down.
So Genesis was born. No middleman markups, no commission salespeople, industry-leading warranties, 30 times the selection, a no-holds-barred diamond education that empowers the customer, and a refreshing, relaxed, no-pressure atmosphere.
We created a place where the consumer is the king.
Come and get the royal treatment today. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution and Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. No matter how you're getting there, start with Parman Tractor and Equipment. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Their service and parts team will get your work site up and running in no time. Parman Tractor and Equipment will come to you for service if needed. Visit ParmanTractor.com for more info. Your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer, providing totally outrageous customer service.
Looking for a career with purpose or have that passion for youth development? Boys and Girls Clubs of Middle Tennessee provides a safe place where youth gain the tools to learn, lead, and reach their full potential. And that starts with you, offering competitive pay and free after-school care for employees. Learn more at bgcmt.org.
Listen to Stillman & Company with me, Caroline Fenton, all season long on ESPN 102.5 The Game for your chance to win Nashville Sounds tickets, courtesy of 312 Pizza Company in Germantown.
It's on. It's happening. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter.
Get out of the way. I'm watching the game.
Presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to the DDC.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
You can watch us streaming live on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook every day. Our video streaming brought to you by the law offices of Amanda Gentry. Back here on the DDC on this Thursday morning. Darren McFarland, that's me. Willie Daunic, that's him. Max Hers in the saddle, manning things. If you call in, you'll get his wonderful voice. We'll give away tickets to My Chemical Romance sometime today before we get out of here. I was reminded during the break via the text, my text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Best time in Chicago, huh? Oh, yeah, I did propose in Chicago, so, yeah, rescind that. That day at Wrigley was not the best day in Chicago, so I do take that back. My bad. We do have a tweet. Whoops. Ooh, what's that smell? Oh, there's something on the bottom of my feet. Andy Strickland has struck with a tweet right before the show, and it's about the Predators. Is it about them wrapping up Forsberg with a deal, now shopping him? No, it is not. He writes, Nashville eyeing another goaltender. Former Blackhawk Kevin Lankinen could be a player they target. Hashtag Preds. Your thoughts?
Well, I think you heard me say a couple days ago, before the qualifying offers went out, I think that they wanted to look at it. Makes sense to want a number 3 candidate that is an insurance policy to back up UC Saros that has a little bit of NHL experience. Then when they offered Devin Cooley a contract, who is a steady 25-year-old guy who's done some very good things in Milwaukee, I thought, well, it looks like they're going to sink or swim with Ingram. And then you have Askarov, who is still so young. But, could I see them bringing him up for 1 or 2 games if he was playing well in Milwaukee? I was like, okay, maybe you could do it that way. This makes some sense. Kevin Lankinen is a pretty young guy. He is only 26, or he'll be 26. Yeah, he's just turned 27, so he'll be 27 this year. He has been playing in front of maybe the worst defensive team, or one of the 5 worst defensive teams in the league for 2 years. And last year, the roof caved in on him. He was brutal. I mean, let's just call it how it was. He was awful last year. The year before that, the shortened 56-game year, he was a Rookie of the Year radar guy until they kind of faded towards the end of the season. Still had okay numbers. His goals saved above average was above water, if you will. So that's important to note. So he brings something to the table. My question is, what's the cost, and would this be a one-way or a two-way deal? Because if it's a two-way deal and Connor Ingram is ready, then that makes a lot of sense, because then you could maybe have Lankinen down low. But Kevin Lankinen has been a part-time starter for 2 years in the league. So can you possibly get him on a two-way deal? I don't see that. Mm-hmm. So are you saying
when David Riddick, by the way, did land a job
after
stunned.
We
got off the air yesterday?
I was stunned. But
He's
Jets
in the peg.
Well, and remember what happens in the peg. Connor Hellebuck is the number one. Well, that too. And also, it snows a lot. It's below zero a lot.
And it's flat.
There's a lot of salt on the streets, and if it's windy, it gets all over you. Those things happen.
Well, you have to.
There's a lot of beer drinking, which is great.
The bridges, the indoor walkways, you have to.
You got the hallways. Yep. And the other thing is Connor Hellebuck starts a ton of games, so you're even hard to remember who the backup is half the time up there. But their backup,
like
Eric Comrie, left, so he doesn't get much run. So they signed David Riddick to be the backup. So Riddick is probably saying, well, I'll take it. But now I'm in a situation again where I'm playing behind a workhorse. So all that being said, Lankinen's out there. The only thing that I'm concerned, I think he would be a very good backup, honestly. He'd be a very good backup. But the problem is, what does that do to Ingram? So that means Ingram, you got to play in Milwaukee, which means you just signed Devin Cooley. So where does that leave Askarov? These are my questions.
Is there something we don't know?
No.
If this is true?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, the picture you're painting, which is true, same picture I was painting in my head when I saw Andy's tweet, and I realized it wasn't about them shopping Philip Forsberg. It was, okay, that's a pretty crowded house if that's true.
Yes.
So what do we not know? Something happened? Is there something we don't know?
Maybe it's, look, you got to have your bases covered. You'll deal with it later. It's not. He's going to be very inexpensive. I think you're trying to shop around $1 million at the most.
Right, but as you said, what if you can't get him on a two-way deal? I mean, David Riddick didn't get a two-way deal.
Yeah, David Riddick got an NHL contract, which I was really surprised. I thought he would have to go the Louis Domingue route.
Right.
But it shows you that if you have experience, you have some value. There's still, some of the goalie moves that have been made the last couple of days are head scratchers. The investment in Matt Murray, some of the other goalies, they're making well above what UC Saros is going to make, and people gleefully jumped in there and committed for 4 or 5 years to these guys. So goalies are hard to find, and I have a lot of confidence in Connor Ingram, but is he the only guy you're going to lean on? It makes sense to have a veteran in there. But what do you do with the other guys? That's going to be the question. It's a little messy in Milwaukee, I would think, if you bring in Lankinen to be the backup. But Lankinen, I think, could potentially, at the age he is, be a solid upgrade as a backup there. If they can piece him back together after getting – I mean, there's got to be some shell shock, right, after last year in Chicago. I mean, you talk about getting lit up.
Well,
where you have no chance.
Here's my problem with what you just said. Okay, so you're looking for something a little bit more experience. Again, Connor Ingram is not 21 years old. He wasn't just legal to do a bar crawl. Okay, he's older than that. He's been around now for a bit. He's been in the system for the Predators for a bit now, and it kind of goes back to the Jeremy Davies situation that I kept saying year after year. Like at some point, either he's good enough or he's not. Like Connor Ingram, and I get it. There's been another layer to Connor Ingram in the past, so I understand that we're not talking about with Jeremy Davies. But at some point, you reach a point where I think, like Connor Ingram is at that point now. He's been here long enough. He got a little dabble last year. We could see it was better than David Reddick. They decided to move on and use him down the stretch when UC went down over David Reddick. So either he's good enough or he's not good enough at the NHL level.
But you've got to have a number 3 either way, don't you?
You're not paying $1 million for the 3, are you?
That's the dilemma. We saw what happened to Pittsburgh in the playoffs, where they had to go to a number 3 in the playoffs. It happens during the season. Let's take Buffalo, which was a total disaster anyway. But remember, they were playing like their 5th or 6th goalie. You do have to be prepared for the worst. So if your only goalies in the system are guys that have virtually not played at all, Connor Ingram's played 2 games plus some playoff games, that's really not enough to be able to say he's the 2, and then you've got complete unknowns after that. As much as we love Askarov in the future, he's still so young.
He's years away.
Yes, I agree. So anybody that wants to advance him at this point, I think they're not doing that. They're just not going to do that. But how do you get playing time for Ingram, Cooley, who you just kept? If they hadn't kept Cooley, I would have said
it's a different conversation.
Yeah, but so I don't know what they would do with Cooley. Maybe they just find somebody to take him. I mean, he's just on a 2-way deal anyway. So
Kyle on our text line says, could packaging Ingram get a top 6 forward? With all due respect to Connor Ingram, he just doesn't have the skins at the NHL level to get you anything. No.
Not a top 6. Now, somebody might be interested in him based on
a journeyman.
Right.
But you're not getting a top 6
Could be maybe a draft pick, but you're not.
Or a draft pick, middle rounds.
But that's not the solution. Of course, everybody is still wondering about the bigger picture. In the more immediate thing, pressing need is what are they going to do? After a day where nothing happened, what is the move to address the second line?
Ethan from Lawrenceburg. Is that Lawrenceburg, Kentucky or Lawrenceburg, Tennessee? I'm going to probably go with Tennessee. Ethan says on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com, could this mean a possible Askarov trade? No.
No way.
Could not. It does not mean that.
0%.
Hold on. Let's think about it. No. Let's think about it again. No.
Nope.
One more time.
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, that's a no. John the mailman on our text line says, Ruh-roh, Darren is on the Shaw list. Yeah, that is true. That is true, John, after that stupid comment about Chicago. Bicycle Boy asked a good question on our text line. Do you think Calgary fans will boo every time Gaudreau comes back to Calgary from now until eternity? I would say, yeah, I do.
Some people were speculating that he will get booed in 4 arenas next year because you have to add New Jersey, Philadelphia, and the Islanders.
He could be the most hated guy in the NHL next year. Speaking of that, an unknown texter says Johnny Gaudreau is now a member of the Columbus Blue Jackets. So long, promising career. It's been nice knowing you. Well, I don't think he's going to go. He's too good just to go away. I am just as perplexed as everybody else. I just was stunned. I'm like, he did. Everybody else is running from Columbus. He ran right into the crowd to Columbus, right? Everybody's running away. He's like, where are you guys going? And he's just running right to the city of Columbus. it's mind-blowing. And the money he left on the table, wow.
And the fact
clearly
that
he wanted out of Canada.
Columbus is not in as good a cap shape as I thought. And so that's like I look at Ottawa and I looked at New Jersey. I was like, okay, those guys might be ready to start making a big turn. Columbus has got a little ways to go, and they don't have any cap space now that they have Gaudreau. So where do they go from here?
Nope. All right, we'll come back. Jack Fraser on the other side. Jay Fresh next.
Hey, Preds fans.
Running across to make the save is Sarah.
You can now hear Nashville's best sports talk.
The backhander, he scores!
And every Predators game on 106.3 FM.
Oh, that was a thing of beauty.
From downtown Nashville to Rutherford and Williamson counties.
Duchesne with the overtime winner.
Catch all the action on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now, 615-576-5000.
This is Chef John from Kitchen Notes at the Omni Nashville. Inviting you to come join us for breakfast and lunch. We are offering some exciting new menu items. For breakfast, we have a smoked prime rib hash. Comes with a sunny side up egg, hominy, caramelized onions. It's a great start to your day. We are featuring a sourdough pancake made with a sourdough bread starter. It's a fun spin on the classic buttermilk pancake. As always, Kitchen Notes is serving biscuits all day. Come join us and create a memorable experience here at the Omni Hotel. Food is all about memories for us. We'd like you to start a new memory here at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Hotel.
Breakfast at Kitchen Notes in the Omni Nashville Hotel.
Hose and Belting Specialties in Murfreesboro is your local source for hydraulic, air, water, and chemical hoses, along with conveyor, timing, and metric belt needs. They stock metric fittings for both air and hydraulic applications. Hose and Belting Specialties stocks Parker hydraulic hoses and fittings, Goodyear Conti-Tech industrial hoses, and V-belts, just to name a few of their lines. For any of your industrial needs, call 615-895-HOSE. 615-895-HOSE.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN.
Welcome into the DDC.
Starting Company is delivered. There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have 2 choices to hear our great sports programming. Get the extra point, no problem. And the Nashville Predators.
He scores!
Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey Nashville, this is Vanderbilt football head coach Clark Lee. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
Back here on the DDC on this Thursday morning, Darren McFarland, Willie Daunic here with you. Jack Fraser, affectionately known as Jay Fresh. I love it. Let's talk a little hockey analytics with him. Jack, thanks for joining us again. How you doing?
I'm doing okay. I will say
The J Fresh is often used unaffectionately, so I got to correct you there.
Well, we're going to use
Wow.
it affectionately.
We
okay?
think it's good. It's a positive thing in Nashville. Just know that.
Well, I appreciate it.
I'm not sure. We need some help. Okay, this happened in the final hour of our show yesterday, and while we really enjoyed getting to know him, nice guy, this is a business, and we are very perplexed at the Blue Jackets giving Eric Goodbranson 4 years, $16 million. Guaranteed. Can you explain why Columbus felt the need to give Goodbranson 4 years at $4 per?
No. But, well, you can read what they said, and what they said was essentially they felt like they had drafted and developed enough skilled guys on their blue line, and that they needed an older player, a more physical player. And, Goodbranson was okay for Calgary last year. Certainly the best year I think that he's had in a very long time. I think he, a lot of people playing for Daryl Sutter last year had the best year that they'd had in a very long time. I think they maybe overreacted to that. They saw what the blue line market was looking like, which was a whole lot of physical defensemen getting paid around $4 million for 4 years, and they jumped on it. And look, it's one of the biggest head-scratching deals that we've seen in a very long time. It has shades of when Derek Engelland was signed to that contract, 8 years ago or so, where the question was, is that per year or is that over the total of the contract? And I think this is one of those kinds of deals.
How much drinking do you think Johnny Gaudreau's agent has been doing since he left, I don't know how many millions on the table, to leave and go sign in Columbus as well? That was, look, it's clear that being back in the States was important. We knew that was out there, but to leave that much money out there, to not get the extra year, there's a whole lot of layers to this. How surprised were you at that deal? And to ultimately end up in Columbus where it looks like players are trying to run out of that city, he ran into it.
Yeah, I was shocked. I was recording an episode of the Hockey PDO cast with Del Musician from The Athletic and Dmitry Filipovich of EP Rinkside. He got signed live on the air, and we were pretty much stunned and silent. It really does seem like all those reports that we had that, the Devils were offering $10.5 million and the Blue Jackets are offering $12 million, that was all, false reporting or at least misled reporting. And that it really seems at this point like the Jackets just offered the most money over the 7 years, and he wanted to move to the States, and so that's what he took. Still shocking, but I think it makes a little bit more sense when you see this as being purely he ended up going to the highest bidder situation.
We learned from David Poyle being on our show this week that it's not flat, it's going to go up $1 million. It's minimal, right? So the salary cap is basically staying very low. And so are you surprised with that being said? It's not like where the NFL comes out and says our cap is going up $22 million, next year, and GMs can start preparing for that and accordingly. Not the case. So with that being said, what do you make of all these monster deals? Some of these signings I liked, but man, it's, the Rangers 7 years. It's like, I don't know if I love some of these max deals. Tampa, luckily the Predators get Ryan McDonough, but the next thing you know, we think they're out of money and they sign 3 max deals. So what have you make of all the activity yesterday and today?
Well, from my understanding, the cap is going to be remaining at least a little bit flat until they kind of make up for the money that they lost during COVID. But the general league-wide revenue is going up pretty quick, especially with the TV deal. So after a couple of years, I think the cap is going to rise, which maybe will make those super long-term deals a little bit more palatable. But, when it comes down to it, those kinds of 7-year deals in the $5.5 million range, we've been seeing them since the beginning of unrestricted free agency, and I don't think we're ever going to stop seeing them. Teams that don't want to have to go through the trade market or find other routes to add those kind of second line, high third line, top four defenseman types of players, they're always going to want to just add them for free in free agency, and you're going to have to pay term to do it. Even though, we have at this point over 15 years of lessons of how those contracts tend to go, GMs just keep signing them. And I think we've learned in the past 3 years that even under the most stringent cap circumstances possible, that's not going to stop teams from trying to do it. And saying that, oh, we're the exception. This isn't going to be Louis Eriksson or Kyle Okposo or Milan Lucic. This is going to be the one that works out.
We're talking to Jack Fraser, EP Rinkside Analytics. You can find him on Twitter at JFreshHockey. And, Jack, I got to tell you, we enjoyed how quick you were able to put up that player card with the statistical outline of what a player has been. So let me ask you about a couple of guys, because another one that we're really puzzled about, because the Predators have sort of made it known for the reasons you said. The cap's going to be flat this year and next year, so you got to get over the hump. The Predators have plenty of guys that are locked up long-term, so they're looking for something short-term. Max Pacioretty we thought was going to be a perfect fit, and little did we know that they were willing to give him away. So I don't know what happened there. I don't know if they just didn't want to deal him to the West and it was easier to throw him to the East, but it looked like Pacioretty would have been a perfect fit for Nashville.
Yeah, I would have to imagine that it comes down to them not wanting to trade him within the conference or within the division, because there's so many teams. I mean, Calgary right now, for example, a team that just happened to lose a pretty highly paid left wing. They would have killed to have Max Pacioretty, I'm sure. Nashville could have obviously used him. And he ends up going to Carolina with almost no rumors around it. We heard that they might consider moving Pacioretty, but we certainly did not have any idea that it was going to be just a pure cap dump. It really seems like they kind of panicked themselves into a quick move, that they set their own parameters to not have it so that they might have to play the player or play against the player in the playoffs. And, that's a result. You lose one of the best snipers in the NHL who has 1 year left on his deal for negative value, which seems shocking, but it really does. It's par for the course for what Vegas has been doing the past couple of years.
Yeah, and Nashville benefited from that with Ryan McDonough, but it does limit what they can do here. So let's look at a couple other guys sort of in that situation. What do you think it would take to get a JT Miller for 1 year? What kind of trade value does he have? Given I just looked at Vancouver, they signed the Russian kid yesterday. They are over the cap right now. Don't they have to make a deal for him or Horvat?
Yeah, it seems like they are going to make some kind of deal there. The thing with Miller is that he's a very hard player to really kind of make heads or tails of, because he was kind of a 55-point type player for a couple of years. He comes to Vancouver, they give him a huge amount of ice time and also power play time, and he ends up scoring at about 70-point pace, and then suddenly 100 points this year, pretty much out of nowhere. And so it's kind of a Nazem Kadri situation where the player is going to want to get paid long-term like an elite center, but the track record really isn't there, and you don't know what's going to happen next. And meanwhile, the player's entering his 30s. Based on all the speculation, and I don't think we've actually been able to hear, concrete terms of what might be available, but I really think in terms of trades that Vancouver is going to be treating him like a legit 100-point player, and they would want the return that kind of player on a 1 year deal, or even with a negotiated extension would cost. So that's a tricky thing to sort out, and there aren't very many teams in the league that have the asset base for that kind of thing, or maybe the ability or desire to sign a player like that long term for $8 million. But
right, and that would be the Predators. Right? You would be trading him for the 1 year and the 1 year only, probably, in a situation like that. So let's look at Alex Killorn. Now that Tampa's done all what they've done, can they afford to keep Alex Killorn?
Well, we've been talking about them having to move Alex Killorn for 5 years now.
Exactly.
And somehow the guy has stuck around. You look at the amount of cap that they have committed after this season. After they signed those 8-year deals, it was something like $79 million they already have committed. I would imagine that at this point, you'd think Killorn has to go, and he's still a useful player. I'm not sure how many years he has left on his deal, but so there you go. So I think that would be a pretty easy one for them to sort out. But if they can make it work this year, we've seen them able to work cap magic before. It wouldn't surprise me if this guy just keeps sticking around.
Speculation on Kevin Lankinen to the Predators as a backup, at least insurance policy, if nothing else. They like Connor Ingram, but he's only played a handful of games. What is your profile on Kevin Lankinen after he got bombarded in front of a really rough defense in Chicago?
Yeah, it's not good. But, he's a guy who has played NHL games. I would envision him hopefully as being a kind of third stringer. And, you have a guy who's played, briefly a starting role in the NHL. You have him as the depth in your organization. I don't think you can complain about that. I think the Predators will be in a better situation if Ingram is good to go, and they can roll with him as the backup. But, in as tight a goalie market as it is, I would imagine Lankinen wouldn't cost very much. And at least, it's a body. And we've seen, the Predators saw, obviously, how important it is to have just bodies who can compete at the NHL level as goalies.
Yep, you never know when you need the live body. Jack, great stuff. Keep up the good work. We'll talk to you again down the road. Thanks for the time.
Sounds good. Thanks, guys.
All right. Jack Fraser, EP Rinkside Analytics Extraordinaire. Really good stuff. Follow him because every time there's a move made, boom, you see some a statistical profile that he puts up there. Man, the one that got away, Max Pacioretty, that's one we talked about all day yesterday. And, of course, the shocker. They gave him away. But as you heard Jack say, and I think there had to be something to this, giving him away is one thing. Giving away to the West is probably another. So it probably needed to be an Eastern team. But we'll see where the Predators go from here. What's the move? Well, let me tell you what the move is right now. Let me tell you about QC Kinetics. They want to keep people moving, right? Activity is what you like. You want to do the things that you love to do. But as the age creeps up, sometimes the joint pain creeps up. And how have we dealt with it over the years? Well, there's the traditional methods, the steroid shots, pain meds, all the things like that. It's really not ideal. It's worked for a lot of people, but maybe there's some frustration with that and you're looking for something new. That's where QC Kinetics comes in with their regenerative treatments. It's outstanding. Regenerative medicine can restore and repair the damaged joint, whether it's your hips, knees, shoulders, back. They use natural biologics. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. They can address any pain in any joint and give you that quality of life you're looking for. QC Kinetics, call them because it's a free consultation. Find out more. This might be exactly what you've been looking for to get back doing the things you love to do. 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024.
The college football season never stops. ESPN college football analyst Trevor Manich joins Stillman and Company every Tuesday at 4:30.
They've got to do what Nick Saban in Alabama has done so successfully over the last 10 years.
Presented by Houston Clinic on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. Staying dry but also staying warm. Our streak of 90-degree days will continue. The next 3 days, low to middle 90s and increasing humidity into the weekend. All 3 of those days loaded with sunshine as well.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hey, Willie Daunic here. Are you feeling the sting of higher interest rates and higher costs? Those credit cards and other loans are costing more and more every month. And inflation is making everything else more expensive. Your home can save you right now. Your home value is up, and there's a ton of cash in it that you can access with Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto specializes in zero-cost cash-out home refis. You can get tens of thousands in as little as 2 weeks. Pay off those 23% rate credit cards and other loans. Consolidate everything into one super low payment. People who do this usually cut $800 or more from their monthly budget. If your home mortgage rate goes up a point or so, it's offset by your credit card rate going to zero. So call Loan Pronto now and unlock that equity and wipe out the bad debt. Do it now. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who believe only quitters end a game in a tie, the type of guys who choose the bar with the biggest TVs to overcompensate for theirs at home. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Twin Peaks is so excited to introduce a brand new wing flavor, Hot Honey. They brought the heat with this one, featuring honey, crushed red pepper, jalapenos, and cayenne pepper. It's sweet on the front end with a kick at the end. Get to Twin Peaks to find your new favorite wing sauce.
Jared Stillman.
This is a team that the entire city is losing their minds over.
Caroline Fenton.
It's one of the youngest teams in the league. They don't have a single player over the age of 30.
Stillman and Company. Afternoons from 2 to 6.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app. You're listening to the DDC.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Write our names here in the mud. No one's around to see them. We can hang our shoes here in a tree.
We'll talk to Robbie Stanley coming up to begin the second hour of the program. Good stuff from Jay Fresh. I will admit, yesterday, well, I was going to say may or may not have, but if I admit, then I'm already telling you I did. I may have thrown something across the room when I saw Pacioretty to Carolina. I may have done that. I was going to say I may or may not have done it, but I've already kind of let the cat out of the bag. I was pretty ticked. It seemed like exactly what we laid out yesterday. It was perfect. It was a scrap heap. They had to get rid of him, and so they just gave him away. I mean, future considerations? What? Pucks? Barbecue? What? I mean, what?
Nothing.
What are they sending them? A Duke shirt? A North Carolina shirt?
Yeah.
Tickets, season tickets? I mean.
I would consider that in the future.
I mean, future considerations, you just gave away Max Pacioretty, and he fit exactly what David Poile told us that he's looking for. He's looking for something small. Look, all these deals have been crazy. For all the fans out there, like, what are they doing? Why? Really? These deals, look at these deals. Like, you think that they're in that game? They just – look, Ryan McDonough right now is their deal. 4 more years at what, 6.75 or whatever. That's a huge deal. Re-signing Philip Forsberg. They're not looking for 5, 6, 7-year deals. And that's what's been thrown out there. Or max deal, 8-year deals. So I get it. Like, it's been crazy, these signings. But this one does fit the bill, and he's a tremendous player. And Vegas said, here, we can't afford it anymore. We've got to get him off the books. Here you go. Send us whatever you want. We don't care. Bag of pucks.
Nothing.
Barbecue. Maybe a smiley sticker. Don't care. Just take him. Like, that to me is where I may, I'm not going to say or may not have, because I did. I may have been a little bit upset. Like, why didn't it happen? And maybe it's exactly what took place in that interview. Maybe Vegas said, we're going to give him away, but it's going to be somebody we only see twice a year. Not in our conference.
And I do wonder if that was part of the thinking. It's one of the things that maybe makes sense. Look, we have no idea if the Predators were beating down the door and talking to Vegas about something like this. But it fits the profile. If they weren't, I don't think they were doing their due diligence. I wonder, too, if you're Vegas, there was even a second player thrown in there, Dylan Coughlin, who is just a role player. But it's like Vegas was like, who will take the money off our hands right now? We've got to get this done today. Anybody want him in the East? Boom. One of the things we talked about yesterday is $7 million, which is what Pacioretty's deal is for this year, is a little steep for what the Predators' budget is this year. They've got some cap space, but they still have to sign Yakov Trenin. And, you've got this Lankinen story there. They might want to look at some insurance in goal. And that was interesting that Jay Fresh sees Lankinen as a guy that maybe you could get on a two-way deal. We'll see. We'll know he's not signed by anybody else yet. There was a ton of goalies that got moved yesterday, so maybe that's all he can get is a two-way deal. That makes more sense. I'm all for that. Two-way deal, I'm in. But You see what I'm saying? You got to give yourself a little bit of wiggle room. So I was saying throw in some incentives, some sweeteners, a couple of draft picks even, to get the number down to maybe 5.5 or something like that. Then you're right in the wheelhouse. And that would have been better for Vegas, right? You get a couple draft picks back instead of Freddie Charles, like you said, the future considerations and a couple of sweatshirts from the Triangle, Tobacco Road, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense. So I don't know where the Predators were in that, or if Vegas was saying, look, we're in a desperate situation here. Would like to help you, but I'm not giving him to you. You're in our conference, right? If we deal with him in the Stanley Cup final, fine. But how bad has Vegas mismanaged this cap? They're still over the cap, Darren.
I know.
They just shed almost $8 million. The other guy was, what, $750K or something? They're still over the cap.
Mm-hmm.
So I do think they're going to get some more phone calls before it's over. But the real question is not with Vegas. Nobody cares about Vegas except for, hey, how good are they going to be? They've still got massive goalie problems. They have no depth. They've traded all their draft picks. They're in trouble. If anybody gets hurt, their top-line players are really good, but I wonder what's underneath there. They've got some restricted free agents they need to sign. I have put together a list, Darren. We can go over some of it with Robbie. I'll float some names at you guys of other players who are in the last year of their contract on teams that are squeezed with the cap to where you could get a similar situation. Some would take some value. JT Miller in particular is the best player out there. Vancouver signed a guy to a 4-year deal yesterday that put them over the cap. They're planning on trading JT Miller, I think. They've also got Bo Horvat, who is a heck of a player in the last year of his deal. I don't think they can keep them both. But what is the trade value? You heard Jay Fresh say I think ideally Miller was probably shopping around going, because they've been shopping him for weeks. I think he wanted the Kyle Turris treatment. Trade for me, and I'll agree to sign a long-term deal with your team. The problem is very few teams have that ability to do right now. The Predators absolutely don't. So I don't know how that is going to work. But Miller is still right now sitting there for the Canucks. They've been shopping him since well before the draft. We'll talk to Elliot about that. But I've got some other guys in mind, Darren, as just possible moves. I don't think this is going to blow you away, but would it be a solid upgrade? Because, look, the free agents, they all did get paid. They all got 5, 6, 7-year deals, at least 4.
Mm-hmm.
Those may prove to be really bad deals in a lot of cases. Some of them absolutely will. The odds would tell you. Maybe a few of them work out really well. But the Predators are not interested in signing a Vincent Trocheck 7-year kind of deal, right? Or even a 5-year deal. They said as much.
But I wouldn't give him 7 years. I mean, there's no way. No way.
So the guy's still out there. There's Dylan Strome. There's Nino Niederreiter. But
because Ryan
those guys,
signed with Anaheim.
Ryan is a 5-year deal.
5-year deal.
But do you want Dylan Strome for 5 years or Nino Niederreiter for 5 years?
I mean, Dylan is young.
Dylan is young.
Niederreiter fits their profile, but they're not. They can't. Again, you can't keep signing that. I've said this for years. You can't give everybody 5, 6, 7, 8-year deals. You can't do it. You can't have a roster,
right.
Or you end up being like Vegas.
Right. You can have a certain amount, but I think the Predators, David Poile told us they're at their limit with that right now. So let's talk to Robbie about this whole situation going here, because they still have to make a move. They need to make a move, but what's the move?
His name is Robbie Stanley. He'll start the second hour. We'll talk to him next.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Is your mattress keeping you up all night? Tossing and turning? Needing a new mattress but don't know where to go? Well, shop at Social Furniture today, where they sell comfort. They have all of the top brands like Sealy, Stearns & Foster's, Simmons, Serta, and Purple Mattress. Social Furniture offers sofa beds, loft beds, twin beds, queen beds, king beds, kids beds, and beds for your whole family. There's no waiting, and they have same-day delivery. Visit Social Furniture in West Nashville at 5412 Charlotte Avenue. Forget the big box store. Shop local. Shop social.
If you missed the latest from Darren, Daunic, and Chase.
Igor Afanasyev.
Ilya Kovalchuk is my favorite player, He was showing like a little masterclass in our small town. He's from there as well, Tver. And I was like, Dad, get me the stick.
Really?
I want to play.
So that's how it happened.
Awesome.
That's how it happened. At first, obviously, it was just fun because I was playing multiple sports. Soccer, basketball, everything. Swimming. But I guess we stick to hockey, and I'm thankful for it.
Yeah. So are the Predators.
Definitely that goal check. Yeah.
So if it wasn't hockey, what sports road do you think you would have gone down?
I don't know. I don't know. I always thought I'd want to be like a movie star or something. I'm not sure if I'd be a good one. I'm just throwing it out there, to be honest. Yeah, I'm not sure.
That's excellent.
Tune in Darren, Daunic, and Chase, weekdays 10 to 2 on Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Tennessee has lots of buried pipelines, so it's important to know the signs of a leak, like if you smell unusual odors or hear hissing. See bubbling earth or water, or dead or dying vegetation. Some signs are even harder to miss, like dirt being blown into the air, a frost ball in an open field, or a flame coming from the ground. If you see any of these signs, don't wait. Leave the area immediately and call 911 or your pipeline company. For more tips on pipeline safety, visit pipesafety.org. A message from the Tennessee Gas Association, Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
In the wee hours of the night, when everyone else is fast asleep, you're the one on third shift, burning the midnight oil. When a part fails and everything comes to a grinding halt, regardless of what the clock on the wall says, you leap into action. Grainger is with you and all the ones who get it done, with 24/7 customer support by phone or click to chat. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Chase Elliott scores the win in the Ally 400 at the Nashville Super Speedway.
Nashville's exclusive home for NASCAR. 102.5 and 106.3. Terang, it's a high fly ball.
The leading receiver.
Awesome game center.
Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Informative conversation while you work. This is the DDC. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Indeed it is. Second hour. Our show is presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. You're going to need that today. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York certified comfort expert company. If it's not working, you need to talk to them right now. Schedule at springhillac.com. Darren McFarland, Willie Daunic here with you. You hear him mornings leading up to our show, starting at 6 o'clock. He's half of that morning show. His name is Robbie Stanley. He now joins us. Robbie, I had I'm going to start somewhere different because I know Willie's going to get into some Predator stuff that we've been talking about all week, and in particular the last two shows. But I did hear that you weighed in on this. I somehow missed it, but I know that you weighed in on it because I sent these guys this tweet that I saw last night. I was watching the Nashville SC game last night at Geodis Park. By the way, it looked like a good crowd on a Wednesday night. Nice win for them. Nice bounce back after I was watching the game in Charlotte that got away from them over the weekend. But I saw this on Twitter circulating about the backline supporters, the collective board of directors, and how they've kind of reached out to the club. And they've also had some requests, and you know, they profess their love on Twitter about this soccer club. So I just want you – I don't know enough about this. I really do want to learn a little bit more, and I don't know what you said, but I know you weighed in on it. So kind of let us know your thoughts on it and our audience, because I'm not sure what to make of it.
Well, I saw this come across Twitter yesterday while NHL free agency stuff was going on, and basically the Backline Supporters Collective, which is a group of supporters that obviously are there for Nashville SC, and there's a lot of people that are made up of this group. They basically put out a statement on Twitter and on social media talking about lack of communication between Nashville SC and for some of their supporters groups as well. So I think a lot of this came from basically the genesis of it was parking over at the fairgrounds. There was a lot that has now since been taken away apparently, and that affects where they tailgate and where they set up and where they get ready
to go in the games. It's a very loud, boisterous group over there. They've done a great job supporting the team over the years. But they came out with this statement yesterday, and I'll just read a little bit from it. I'm not going to sit here and read the whole thing again, but just it starts off by saying, thick and thin, win, lose, or draw, we back the boys in gold. To be clear, this is not about the players. It's not about on-field performance. It's also not about parking, tailgates, and signings. And they go through this whole list, and then they have 4 requests for the club at the end of this little diatribe they go on. And part of it is about a discount system for supporters at the in-stadium supporters bar. So you're sitting there starting this thing out, talking about how it's not about parking, tailgates, and signings, and then you're asking for discount for concessions, and you're asking for priority pricing changes that impact some of the supporters groups as well. I just thought it came off to me as a very whiny, entitled, quite frankly, loser post from the Backline supporters group. I've heard from a lot of people who are in the Backline supporters group who have said that this does not reflect the way that they think, who have said that they have paid dues to be in the Backline supporters group, and they were never even consulted about this before the statement got put out there, that a small number of people just went with this and did it and posted it from the Backline social media account. So they got absolutely crushed for this yesterday on social media, which they should have. Again, I think it was just loser talk from the Backline supporters group. They should be crushed for it, and I think there's been some sort of resolution. Apparently, Nashville SC is going to meet with them. One of the requests they threw out there was quarterly meetings with Ian Ayre. So I don't know what all is going to come from it. I thought it was a bad look, and they're getting crushed for it, and I hope they keep getting crushed for it.
He is the CEO. He's been on our show many times. Is that correct? They want sit-downs with him?
4 times a year.
Yeah,
4 times a year.
Quarterly meetings with club
to
leadership.
What? To run the – do they want – I'm just trying to figure out, because I read the stuff too last night, and like I said, I sent it to our group text, and I was like, could someone help me understand what's going on here? I mean, I've been to a game, want to get back. In fact, my son walked in when I was watching the game last night. He's like, when are we going to go again? Because unfortunately the one we went to didn't last very long, and it got rained out. So I'm familiar with, the setup and the scene. What are they – I don't understand. Like, some of this stuff, it doesn't even make any sense. Is this commonplace in the MLS, or like these support groups around the league where they get sit down? Like, did they get data from other markets that this stuff is happening, so why don't we get it? Or help me understand why this was put out there.
I mean, it's a great question. I don't think so. Like, it comes off as, quite frankly, thinking you're more important than you really are. Like, that's really what it comes off as to me. And again, most of the people that I've heard from that have joined this group and are in the Backline can't stand that this statement came out yesterday. They don't like it. So this is a very small number of people who have decided to go ahead and put this out there. And I think, again, I just think it sounds like a bunch of entitled whiny babies out there that maybe are not getting things the way that they want, and now they're crying about it on social media. So it's a horrendous look. Quite frankly, I wish Nashville SC would have just let it go in one ear and out the other and wouldn't have responded to it, because I don't think they need to respond to it. Look, if you've ever been to a soccer game here, the atmosphere is great. The supporter section is great. I mean, everything is done really well over there for the most part, other than some of the communication that they have, which is a story from a different day. But everything for the most part is done pretty well over there. So to me, all this does, and people pointed this out in the comments section yesterday, both on Twitter and on Facebook, it's like, okay, you say you're all about the team and you're going to unequivocally support Nashville SC, and now all of a sudden you're going to not have flags, you're going to not have drums, you're going to pull away until they meet your request list. Like, it came off as just thinking you have way more power and way more say than you actually do, and that you actually should. And again, I thought it was 100% loser talk.
Robbie, did they go through with it last night? Did they not chant or drum? I mean, it looked great. The crowd looked awesome last night. It was a great win for the team.
27,000 last night.
Yeah, they won 1-0 last night. It was a great-looking crowd. I mean, I don't know if y'all have seen this or not. Joe Willis made an unbelievable save.
It was amazing. I watched the game. It was an exciting game, a good quality win, a much-needed win. They've been struggling some, but I was curious. Like, I can't tell with the background, it still sounded like there was chanting.
Yeah,
I heard the
crowd
drums.
noise.
I heard it.
But was it them, or was it a different? There's more than one support group, right?
Oh, yeah, there's more than one support group, and I don't know exactly who it was. Apparently there's been a resolution to whatever complaints they had because the back line has since put it on social media that their voices have been heard and they're back to normal now. So I don't know what exactly the resolution looked like, and I don't know if that maybe has more to do with the backlash they got than anything else on social media. But, yeah, that seemed to work out pretty quickly.
All right, switching gears. So I'm just going to – my one question to you, and then I'll turn it over to Willie, is of what's left now that the smoke is cleared from yesterday and hopefully Columbus has woken up from their drunken stupor yesterday. They're probably very hungover today. But what's left? The move needs to be made by I think the Predators and the Islanders were the only two teams not to make a move so far in free agency. With what's left and what's realistic, what do you think is the play for David Poile?
I think it's a trade. I think they're working on a trade to add to the top six because I look at the options with free agency. You know, Nino Niederreiter, he's a good player. I'm really surprised he didn't get signed yesterday, and quite frankly, him not getting signed yesterday kind of tells me that maybe he's looking for something and asking for something that at the moment is just not quite realistic because he's a good player. With some of the other deals that were made yesterday, I was pretty surprised that Niederreiter wasn't a part of that group. So he's still on the table for you. That's probably the most attractive free agent option that's still left that I think is realistic. Obviously, Kadri's out there, but I can't see that happening with the Predators. So unless you're going the Niederreiter route, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense based on what David Poile said the other day with you guys, he's not going to sign a one-year deal, I don't think. So I don't know that I see that part of it happening. I think a trade is going to end up happening, and there's intriguing names. The Pacioretty one that we floated out there, and I know you guys floated out there yesterday too, seemed to make a whole lot of sense for me, and I think that one hurts if you're a Preds fan that he ends up going somewhere basically for free to Carolina. But there's other guys like that out there, maybe not to that same level. JT Miller is the intriguing one. I'm interested to see what his cost would be, but there's Kaloran out there with Tampa Bay as well. There's Nyquist from Columbus who's out there as well. That's got one more year left on his deal. So there still are some intriguing guys that I think you could get via trade.
Let's talk about a couple of those guys, Rob, because they have a varying degree of value in my mind, and I can't wait to float some of these guys at Elliott to see what he's hearing in his circles. But let's take one that you just threw out there, Gus Nyquist. With this signing of Johnny Gaudreau, Columbus is way over the cap. They've got to clear space so that they can sign Patrick Laine. They said yesterday they fully intend to sign Laine, and that's going to be very expensive. And Laine is a flawed guy, even though he can score. Beyond the fact that he can score, there's issues there, big issues. So what's he worth? But they want him. So I know a lot of people have said, well, what about trying to get Laine? It's not going to happen for the Predators. But they've got a shed somewhere. Nyquist, I believe you could just, in one phone call, you could have Gus Nyquist for the last year of his contract. And I think it's like $5 million. What do you think of him? Any thought there? I mean, I don't. He's a steady, good player. He missed an entire year 2 years ago, but he played all 82 last year. He's 33. I was kind of looking at that, saying, worth it? Or are you better off just letting the guys you have try to make it happen there?
Well, I think you'd certainly be better off with him than the guys you have right now because, to me, there's still a pretty glaring hole in the top six. And is he a game changer? No. I mean, he had 53 points last year, 18 goals. He's traditionally been right around a 20-goal guy. Now, he had 28, but that was almost a decade ago at this point with the Red Wings. But he's traditionally around a 15, 16, 18. He scored 20 a couple of times, goal guy. So it's not going to be a high volume of goals that he puts together, which honestly I think is what made Pacioretty so intriguing because I thought he and Johansson would have been perfect together. So that one really stings, I think, if you're a Preds fan. But Nyquist is a guy that I don't think it would cost you that much via trade.
I don't think it would cost you anything.
Assets.
Based on what Pacioretty – I honestly, I think they would be excited to take the phone call. I think you could offer some Tootsies, vouchers, some fringe benefits around Broadway when the draft is here next, I think you'd be good. Future consideration. Some Goo Goo clusters.
Goo Goo cluster, get anything you want to in there, and they would give it to you. So, like right now, if that's the route you wanted to go, I'd probably rather see David Poyle do that than sign Niederreiter to a 4 or 5 year deal. The term with some of these free agents would scare me off, and I just don't know that Phil Kessel is the same player and is worth that type of an investment.
And unfortunately, well, okay, how about along those lines? I'm kind of with you on Kessel. I'm lukewarm at best on him. What about Paul Stastny on a 1 year deal?
That's an intriguing guy. I mean, he's bounced around. He's played some wing in his career. He's played some center as well. That's the other thing. Like, Johansson is 100% a center. He's not playing on the wing. He's going to be a center. So that's also an interesting thing when we bring up the Dylan Strome part of this too. So let's talk Stastny. Let's talk Strome. If you go get one of those guys that played down the middle, are you moving one of them to the wing? Are you moving Granlund back to the wing? Like, I'd be really interested to see how they would handle that. Like, Stastny, to me, I would probably steer clear of that unless the price is really, really low. I mean, in order to acquire him. But that's the other part of it is if you acquire a guy that's traditionally been a centerman, are you moving Granlund back to the wing? I guess that's something they'd have to figure out.
Exactly. The fit is important. All right, last one, Alex Killorn. What do you think?
I really like
Tampa's desperate. I think like they said, I think Adam used the word on your show yesterday, Robbie. Tampa can be devious. They can be creative. They find loopholes. Maybe they can find a way to keep Killorn. But it doesn't look like it to me. They're over the cap. They've got no space at all. Could you get Killorn for a year?
I think you could, and he's an intriguing guy to me, Willie, because, honestly, he's not ideal for me in the top 6. I think he's a really good player. He's right around 20 goals every year, so definitely could play in the top 6 for you this year. But he's also a guy to me, and especially with the way that he plays the game, that if you did want to elevate Tanner Jeannot to the top 6, and I don't know if they do or not, but let's say the Predators did want to elevate Tanner Jeannot to the top 6, I think Killorn is the type of the guy. Unlike Luke Cunnin, I think Killorn is a guy that could step in with Sissons and Trennan and fit in, and they wouldn't miss a beat. Like, I think that's something to keep in mind here too. So I don't know that Killorn for me is an ideal solution in top 6, especially given his age and the wear and tear on his body. But he is interesting in the fact that I think he could play in the top 6, and he certainly could play on the third line. And I think there's a little bit of versatility there that Killorn would bring to the table. So it could be like if you go get Killorn, it may be a little bit of a different approach, and maybe Jeannot is your answer in the top 6, and Killorn slides in on that third line. But I don't know exactly how the Predators would handle that.
Robbie, good stuff. You've put in the work today. We asked for overtime. You gave us 16 really good minutes. So rest up. I know there's more action on your show tomorrow.
I just really wanted to get Darren's thoughts on his best trip to Chicago again. Somebody named Lauren has weighed in on that, but maybe we'll save that for another day.
Yes, let's do that. Robbie, great stuff. We'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
All right, we're coming back with more. We've got more names to throw out there for the Predators. What is the move? You heard Jay Fresh. You heard Robbie. We're floating some names out there that still could be on the Predators' radar, could be fits. If you've got thoughts, 737-1025, area code 615, call or text. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the Predators' patience here trying to address the second line. We're back after this on 102.5 The Game.
Robbie and Rex Road here on ESPN.
Welcome into the DDC.
Stomach Company is delivered.
There's a new way to hear 102.5 The Game. Nashville's best sports talk on 106.3 FM. From downtown Nashville to Spring Hill on I-65 and to Murfreesboro on I-24. You now have 2 choices to hear our great sports programming. Get the extra point, no problem. And the Nashville Predators. Scores! Check out 106.3 now and save it as a preset.
Hey, Ray Jeter here with Harness. Are you looking to take ownership in a position that will support your growth and development? We are an excavation and site utilities contractor. Several things set us apart from our competition, but we take the most pride in the professional development of our people. We have multiple openings for operators, pipe layers, and laborers. Our pay and benefits are second to none, including our 401k program. Apply today at selectharness.com. Harness LLC. Build people, move dirt.
If you suffer from joint pain from arthritis or an injury, You know the traditional treatments, pain meds, steroids, and then surgery, right? Willie Daunic here with great news. Now there's a better way, and it's here now from the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. This is an advanced, exciting, and natural alternative that can give you lasting relief using your body's own healing power. Listen, steroid shots are toxic to your joints. Pain meds can be addictive, and nobody wants to go under the knife. It's 2022, and those old ways are out. The new way is in. Regenerative medicine, restoring and repairing damaged joint tissue using natural biologics. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. QC Kinetics and their protocols can address any pain in any joint and give you the quality of life you deserve. So call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
Hey folks, Joe Rexroad here, inviting you to step up to the tee and take a swing at betting the PGA Tour on FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet the Tour with a no-sweat first bet. You get up to $1,000 back in free bets if you don't win. Lots of ways you could go here. I wouldn't overthink this. I'd be looking at guys like Scotty Scheffler, Cameron Smith, Sam Burns, Rory McIlroy. These are the folks who are really flourishing this year on the Tour. And, of course, on FanDuel Sportsbook, you got great promotions every day. It's safe and secure. It's easy. You get paid fast. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and sign up using promo code Joe102 to get started with your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. FanDuel Sportsbook, official betting operator of the PGA Tour. Again, promo code Joe102. You must be 21 or older and present in Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issued as non-withdrawable site credit expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If you have a gambling problem, call the Tennessee Red Line, 800-889-9789.
Men, what if I told you that now you are able to get testosterone replacement therapy in the comfort of your own home? No more weekly trips to the doctor's office. We come to you 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. Be seen by a licensed medical professional in the privacy and comfort of your own home or office. You decide. Schedule your appointment today at CoolSpringsMD4Men.com.
We want to hear from you.
Thanks for taking the call.
Join the conversation. Call or text at 615-737-1025. Driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to the DDC.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Good stuff from Robbie Stanley. Appreciate him joining us. Ryan McDonough. He's a defenseman for the Predators. He will join us at around 12:15. So a little bit less than an hour from now, we'll catch up with Ryan McDonough for the first time on the show. Elliot Freeman, his last installment for this year. And then he'll crank back up with us when the season begins next year. That's coming up at 1 o'clock. Quickly, before we get into our list, Willie, let's go to our phone line driven by Wilson
This isn't
County.
the list, which will be tomorrow's show.
That's tomorrow at noon.
Yeah.
And
Or
I hate
it
that
might be a little afternoon.
Well,
Depends on when our coverage of the showcase game is finished up, but we will have the list for sure.
Just for people who have not heard, we will have coverage beginning. Our show starts at 10 o'clock. Coverage beginning at 10 o'clock. Puck drop will be at 10:30 for the Predators Prospect Showcase game, and we will be carrying that live here on these airwaves during our show. That's at Ford Ice Center in Bellevue if you want to attend. We had Igor Afanasiev on the show yesterday. Really good conversation with him yesterday, and he'll be a part of everything tomorrow. And then afterwards, I know you guys will recap a lot of this, and actually I'll be doing the afternoon show with the suit, Chase Maccababe. So we'll be doing that from 2 until 6 o'clock. So that's all of our coverage in that window of 10 to 6 tomorrow. But let's go to our phone line, driven by Wilson County. And by the way, Willie and C-Mace will be on the call for the game. Just wanted to pass that along as well. Austin, you're up first. What's up?
What's going on? How you guys doing?
Great.
So I'm thinking. So I've been, watching the free agency quite a bit. Like I've been keeping my eyes. I'm really thinking that the two top players that I believe the Preds should go after, or one of the two, is T.J. Miller or Nino Niederreiter. I believe either one of those two will be the perfect fit for that second line. I believe that Nino Niederreiter would probably be the best, but T.J. Miller would be younger, I believe, right?
Are you talking about J.T. Miller?
Yeah, J.T. Not T.J. Sorry, J.T.
Okay.
Yeah.
I wasn't trying to be. I wasn't sure you were naming somebody we have not discussed. I'm like T.J. Miller. I'm not. Okay, so
yeah. I was thinking that maybe in my mind I was like T.J. Watt or something. I'm sorry. J.T.
T.J. Watt might be good. I don't know. He's an all-around athlete. All right, we'll discuss, Austin, because obviously I like your list. The problem is those guys. Well, Niederreiter hasn't been signed, and Miller there hasn't been a deal struck, and you just wonder, is it too rich for David Poyle's blood? Do they fall along the theme of what's happened the last 24 hours, right? And so that's what it feels like. I personally would think I would be big thumbs up for Niederreiter, but if he's asking for the moon, then I know that it's not realistic.
There's just no way he's signing a one-year deal. Based on what everybody else got, he's got to be looking around going, geez.
Yeah, I'm at least getting 4.
I'm at least
right?
getting 4. So that's the difference. Niederreiter would be a great fit. I would love to have Niederreiter. He's one of those guys you hate playing against because he's nasty. He walks the line.
I like his game a lot.
And he
fits
scores.
what they do.
Yeah,
he fits what they do.
Absolutely. He's aggressive. He's fast. He's tough. He's Swiss, so Roman Yossi's probably got a line in on him. Hey, man, Nino, come on. But like I said, it's just the Predators are not in the market right now for a 4 or 5 year deal, which is what everybody else got. Andre Palat, who's 2 years older, just got 5 years.
Yeah.
And he's a great player, but man.
But 5 years from the Devils.
Come on.
Oof.
That's rough. So David Poyle, I give him credit. I think he has shown his cards. There was a day and time you would never get any kind of insight. He would hold things close to the vest. You know what I read earlier today, Darren? There's only 2 teams that have not made a transaction since the bell rang yesterday for free agency. The Predators and the Islanders. Only 2. And you have 2 of the most widely experienced GMs in the game running those teams, David Poyle and Lou Lamoriello. So, part of it is because those 2 have already invested their long-term deals and just can't afford to add anymore. If you look, both of those rosters have plenty of them. So the Predators are looking for that 1-year thing. So Niederreiter, I would love to have him. He's a perfect fit. I just don't think it's going to happen. But J.T. Miller is a really interesting one, and this is one we're going to be all over Elliott about. What's the market for him? You heard Jay Fresh talking about, well, in a perfect world, J.T. Miller, you shop around, you get a huge return, and the team that signs him to a long-term deal. But how many teams can do that right now? And he's 29. I wouldn't mind having him for 1 year and then try to figure it out after that. Do you want to keep him? Do you not want to keep him? But what would it take to do that?
Yeah.
But
what do you have to give
But
up?
Vancouver is in a position where they are over the cap. They have to do something. They have to trade J.T. Miller. So what does that do to your value? I'm sure Vegas, when they started the summer, was like, oh, yeah, we'll just trade Max Pacioretty, and we'll probably get a couple good things back. And then nobody was calling. Nobody's offering anything. It was the Al Pacino. It was the Michael Corleone. Here is my offer. Nothing. From Godfather Part 2.
Yeah.
I'll take him. I'm not giving you anything back. So,
or Jerry Maguire, Tom Cruise. Who's with me?
Yeah. Now, J.T. Miller is
the
younger.
Goldfish. The Goldfish is with me. Who else?
Yeah, so J.T. Miller is younger. He's 29, and I'm sure he wants a commitment, but there are so many teams that are trying to figure out a lot of teams. So I don't know. I'm just wondering. It's worth some phone calls. J.T. Miller and Bo Horvat is the other one I think they'd like to keep. He's a homegrown guy, but he's about the same price and the same deal. 1 year left on his contract for about $5 million. Then there's Alex Killorn, who we talked about. Tampa Bay still up against the cap. Gus Nyquist, Columbus, up against the cap. I don't think he's as attractive, but he's a steady veteran player that I think would be a plus. And I think it would cost virtually nothing to get him.
I think he would be a plus. Like, Here's the deal for the people that are screaming from the mountaintops that they haven't made any move. Well, if it doesn't make any sense, like just to do a move is dumb. I mean,
right.
To
and
do a move to
fall
say,
into that trap.
hey, we did something, like that's just dumb. Like, make the right move. I mean, the stuff that you saw yesterday, other than the Pacioretty deal, and we don't know what went on behind the scenes, that is the only one. Like, I'm really questioning, why didn't that happen? That fits what you told us on our show when you joined us. That fits that mold. I don't understand why that one didn't happen. The rest of the stuff, the deals that have been given, I would have liked a lot of these guys, but what they got, I totally understand why they said, yeah, no, that's a no.
Yeah.
No thanks. That is the only one. Now, but just to do something, like that makes zero sense. Just to what? Satisfy people? Like, yeah, hey, we did something. Yeah, and the first time after about a month and a half when they suck and they're not doing anything, you're screaming from the mountaintops, what a horrible move. Well, you wanted something. There you go. There's the move you wanted. So it's got to make sense. I think Kadri, it seems like, is he going to come back to Colorado? Is that?
No.
No?
Not that now that they have
Where
re-upped
is
with
he
Arturi
going?
Lehkonen, I don't know. I think he's sitting around going, well,
But I haven't heard that hot team. Is this
nope.
now Calgary, now that they lost Gaudreau? Is this where they jump
Maybe.
in for Kadri?
Possibly. I'm not sure. I'm telling you, there's a lot of teams that don't really have the serious money for that kind of commitment. And if they do have that, it's the Detroits, the Ottawas, the New Jerseys.
Calgary's got it. They were going to offer him $80 million. So
yes, Calgary
they've
definitely
got it.
has it. But Kadri is 31.
I know.
Is he that good?
He is. He's pretty darn good. Not a 7-year deal, but you
That's
can
what he
offer
wants.
him. Yeah,
That's
you're
what
not
he
giving-
wants.
Yeah, he's not getting that. I mean, he's really, really good. Don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
but 7
Okay.
years. Let's come back on this. Let's continue this.
And Kadri is
the
not
other
on the
side.
Predators' radar. We know
No,
that. So
he's not.
Where he goes, only indirectly at best, would affect the Predators. But we'll get to them in a moment because I want to ask you more about Nyquist and just
Okay.
give you some numbers on him, and you tell me, is he
In or
worth
out.
it?
Okay. We'll do that on the other side here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Matt Duchene, and this is Smashville.
Running down the left side with Duchene. Duchene scores! Matt Duchene with the overtime winner.
You're listening to the flagship of the Nashville Predators radio network, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Throwback Thursdays with the Nashville Sounds are the best way to spend a summer night. Enjoy $2 and $3 drink specials throughout the park, or take the Ice Shot Challenge at the Bandbox. First pitch against the Memphis Redbirds is at 7:05. For tickets, visit NashvilleSounds.com.
Summer heat is here. How is your air conditioner holding up? Costs are rising everywhere. Grocery bills, gas bills, utility bills, you name it, up, up, up. Is your AC old, inefficient, costing more than it should? Interest rates are rising, but not at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Qualified buyers have up to 72 months. No interest for a new York air conditioner and 6 months no interest for repairs. That's at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. All new systems come with a 10-year parts and labor warranty. That's at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. A York certified comfort expert company. Schedule now at springhillac.com.
Erectile dysfunction ruins sex, but it's more than that. It harms otherwise good relationships. It destroys marriages. It can cause depression and anxiety, and it can be extremely hard on a man's self-esteem. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic. And if you're suffering with ED, if it's affecting you, I want you to know that if you're like most men, we can treat it and get you back to the man you used to be. At the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we're ED experts. Our protocols have success rates as high as 90%. We've successfully treated thousands of men in the Music City, and we have a variety of treatment options and treatment combinations that could have you performing like you haven't in years. You could even last up to an hour and experience great sex again that is satisfying for both you and your partner. In treating your health, expertise matters, so make an appointment today. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
We here at 102.5 and 106.3 The Game are looking for our next great executive producer. Hey, it's Chase McCabe, the program director. If you think that's you and you think that you have the experience, the drive, and of course you share that love of sports, send your resume and cover letter to together@cromwellmedia.com.
Your home for Hit City is 94.9 The Fan.
Your Nashville Sounds continue their series against Memphis.
Swing and a miss, strike three. Sounds win.
Pregame at 6:50.
On your home for Sounds baseball, 94.9 The Fan and The Fan app.
Hey, this is Pekka Rinne. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Let's do this. Let's go on and give away those tickets to see My Chemical Romance at Bridgestone Arena on August 23rd. Doesn't this get you in the mood? This music?
Man, I was like, what happened to the mood here, man?
Let's bring it down a notch, or two, or three.
Or six.
Caller 7 at 615-737-1025. That is our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com. Max Hirsch is eagerly awaiting caller 7 for a pair of tickets to My Chemical Romance at Bridgestone Arena on August 23rd. Ryan McDonough in the third hour. Okay, so let's talk about Nyquist. Columbus needs to shed.
Columbus is over the cap. They have not yet signed Patrick Laine, which they intend to do. Gustav Nyquist. Gus. 1 year left, $5 million per year. He is going to be 33 years old. Missed the entire season 2 years ago. Did not play a game. Came back last year and played 82 games. He had 18 goals and 35 assists, 53 points. That is basically a Gus Nyquist season. If you look year in and year out, he's got some numbers that are very, very – it screams second line, okay? Let's just pick a year. Age 28, 2017, 2018 with Detroit. Last year with that club before he was traded – or last full year with that club. 21 goals, 19 assists, 40 points. The following year at age 29, 22 goals, 38 assists, 60 points. Got traded to San Jose for the stretch run, had a good playoff run with them. Then he signs a free agent deal with Columbus. The first year, 15 goals, 27 assists, 42 points, but that was in a 70-game season because of COVID, the shutdown, right? So that's a, so basically he's a guy that's going to get you most years, if he stays somewhat the same, between 45 and 55 points. And I would say realistically, I think 50 points would be realistic.
On the higher end.
Well, I don't know about the high end. He had 53 last year.
Yeah, but he's not it's not
Is
like
50 realistic?
He's about a 40. If you're on average, he's about 47 points a year.
Right, but 20 goals.
20 goals.
18 to 20 goals, 45 to 50 points. Is that second line? It's a heck of a lot better than the second line last year.
Well, again, if it has a pulse, it's going to be better than what they traded.
Okay,
to
but that's what they're looking for. They're looking for an upgrade there because they have an exceptional third line.
I think he's overpaid. I just don't think. What does he make? Over
makes
5?
It's exactly 5.
Yeah, it's probably overpaid.
Okay, and the other thing I don't know, because he's been in the East for the most part, is he a winning player? Is he a guy that kills penalties? Is he a guy that, I don't know what his analytics are? Mm-hmm. But I think he's a pretty steady player. He's a really intriguing benchmark. Now, what about Alex Killorn? A guy that lights up all the lights in a Ryan McDonough kind of way. Like if you ask Ryan McDonough about Alex Killorn, who is under $5 million, he had 59 points last year in all 82 games. To me, I would be all over that. So would you put him higher on the list than Nyquist? I'm just saying Nyquist I think would be very gettable right now if that's your baseline. Mm-hmm. Would you rather take a run at Killorn?
Well, they're both about the same age.
Same age.
Pretty much the same age.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, they're about the same player, really. I mean, production-wise.
In terms of goals and assists,
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, Killorn's a little bit bigger dude, but I like him coming from the winning culture. Obviously, I do like that. I do think there's value in that. Nyquist has not done a ton of winning in Detroit and Columbus, so Killorn has been a part of a winning culture for a decade, and so that to me gives him the inside edge. All things considered, but the question is, what is he looking for? Like Nyquist, I feel pretty good. You can get him for a song, and you can just play out that 1 year, and there's your 1 year guy. But can you do that with Killorn? I mean, what does he want? What do you think
He's got 1 year left on his deal. He has 1 year left.
And so Tampa's in the same boat. They need to shed.
I think they do. Now, Tampa is creative, and they, like you heard Jay Fresh talking about earlier in the show, it seems like every year you hear Alex Killorn's name as well. I don't know if they can keep Killorn, but they're sitting there right now underwater in the cap. Their projected cap space on Cap Friendly is -$7 million. -$7 million. So you tell me, something's got to give. So to me, Alex Killorn has got to be up for discussion. I don't know how they just signed Ian Cole for $3 million. So you tell me. I mean,
Neil said on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com, Killorn had 0 goals in the playoffs.
I don't care. He's got 2 rings. He had 25 goals during the season.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, he did not have – this is the only year he did not have a goal in the playoffs. So, okay. But guess what? Last year when they won the Cup, he had 8 goals and 9 assists. He had 17 points. It's pretty darn good.
Yeah. Look, has he got some mileage? Yeah, he's got some mileage. But to me, is he a clear upgrade, and does he bring something to the table, a winning element, ingredient? Heck yeah. To me, that's worth looking into.
On our text line agrees with me. He says, Killorn, he is a winner. So, yeah, I mean, he comes from a winning culture. So, yeah, I would. If you're asking me, all things equal, right? We did that yesterday. All things equal, I'm giving the edge to Killorn.
Okay.
But I don't know if all things are equal.
Well, when you say all things aren't equal, I agree with you, but the leverage is with the Predators, I think, for these players. These are teams that have to get under the cap before the start of the season. They have to. So they have to make – something's got to give. They've got to do something. So I think you make them an offer, a Michael Corleone. I think you try to lowball and see if you can get somebody without really giving anything up. Now, I would be willing to give some stuff up to get JT Miller or Bo Horvat if that was on the table. We know JT Miller's being shopped around. I just wonder what offers have come Vancouver's way. I think in a perfect world, they would have dealt him before the draft and then been able to know what they've got. Right now, that move that they made yesterday for, how do you say his name, Ilya Mikheyev, the guy that was with Toronto, they signed him for 4 years. Mm-hmm. So it's like they signed JT Miller's replacement. That's the price area. So they've got to get rid of that salary. And they're holding out to see what offers come around. But I don't think there's a lot of teams that can, A, make a good offer, and B, sign him long term. But if you're just trying to grab him for 1 year, that's, what are you willing to give up? High pick? Second rounder? Prospect for JT Miller for 1 year, and Miller, I don't know if he's got any no trade protection or not, but it's basically, hey, JT, you're coming here for 1 year, and then we're going to figure it out.
I know Ryan Strome signed with Anaheim. Did Dylan? Did I miss something? Is he?
Now, last I checked, he had not signed.
He had not signed,
yeah.
Right? So
unique situation, but he's another guy. Can you get him for 1 year, or are you willing to try to put him on the books beyond this year? He is younger.
Ryan get 5 years from Anaheim?
5 years from Anaheim.
Oh.
They had the money. Now, I did look at this. Vegas is still over the cap. Now, maybe Vegas very well is just not playing ball with anybody in the West. But Jonathan Marchessault is another guy that's been rumored to the Predators for a couple years. He's got 2 years left, $5 million per, age 31. I really like him. Can you make that work for 2 years if you're the Predators? Is that worth moving some guys around? Remember, Tanner Jeannot and Alex Carrier are going to get big raises next year if they do anything this year. They're both playing at less than $1 million a year. What are you budgeting for them a year from now?
It's hard to see what you got to know what is the follow up going to be for Tanner Jeannot.
Okay, let's
goals.
say he scores 18 goals but is also, blowing people up, doing his thing. Just has another good year. Maybe it's not 24, but it's 20. So what do you do?
We can discuss that and more to wrap up the second hour on the other side. Congratulations to Mark in Murfreesboro. Hey, not in Mount Juliet, in Murfreesboro. Mark, congratulations. Go enjoy My Chemical Romance at Bridgestone Arena in August. Thanks for listening, and have fun at the show. We'll come back, wrap up the second hour next.
Join 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and Newton Motor Group this summer to help kids in Middle Tennessee. We're teaming up with Souls for Souls to provide shoes to children experiencing homelessness in Nashville and the surrounding area for back to school. Our goal is to raise $20,000, which will provide 1,000 pairs of shoes for kids. To help, go to thegamenashville.com/shoes. Let's do some good this summer. Newton Motor Group is a proud sponsor of Souls for Music City. Newton Motor Group, the best car deals in Nashville. Start at Newton. Visit thegamenashville.com/shoes.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. Staying dry but also staying warm. Our streak of 90-degree days will continue. The next 3 days, low to middle 90s and increasing humidity into the weekend. All 3 of those days loaded with sunshine as well.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hey, Willie Daunic here. Are you feeling the sting of higher interest rates and higher costs? Those credit cards and other loans are costing more and more every month, and inflation is making everything else more expensive. Your home can save you right now. Your home value is up, and there's a ton of cash in it that you can access with Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto specializes in zero-cost cash-out home refis. You can get tens of thousands in as little as 2 weeks. Pay off those 23% rate credit cards and other loans. Consolidate everything into one super low payment. People who do this usually cut $800 or more from their monthly budget. If your home mortgage rate goes up a point or so, it's offset by your credit card rate going to zero. So call Loan Pronto now and unlock that equity and wipe out the bad debt. Do it now. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Throughout the country, buried pipelines are indicated by a pipeline right-of-way. A long, wide stretch of grass cleared of trees and marked with signs. If you have a right-of-way near your home, do not plant anything in it or dig in it. Do not install a fence or build your kids a super cool fort without first getting the pipeline operator's approval. For more on pipeline safety, visit pipesafety.org. A message from the Tennessee Gas Association, Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
Robbie Stanley.
To avoid non-contact injuries and not repeat last year,
Joe Rexroad.
Just wait until next year's national TV schedule comes out.
Robbie and Rexroad. Mornings from 6 to 10 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app. You're listening to the DDC.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game, and on the Game Nashville app.
We are your racing station. Home for NASCAR. Sunday, 1 o'clock p.m. That'll be the Cup race. Also, Chase will get you ready. Get your blood flowing for some vroom vroom Sunday morning at 8 o'clock. All of our race coverage here on this station presented by Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. A little bit more upbeat. Max bringing us back. I'll tell you what. Right now, watching the Marlins and the Pirates in Miami, like, it doesn't get any better.
I mean, this is awesome.
I'm for certain we've got way more listeners right now than are at this game. I mean, way more.
Pretty confident of that.
I know. I'm not pretty confident. Like, I am That's just a no-brainer.
You've also got the kids with the neon shirts. Like, hey, let's go to the Marlins game. Summer camp. We're going to the Marlins game. Everybody wear this neon shirt of this color so we don't lose anybody. So if we see a neon shirt walking around the upper deck aimlessly just trying to see, can I go any higher? What's up? Maybe there's a ball up there. Maybe there's a free hot dog up there. Let's just see how high we can go. Isn't that the always the interest of a kid? That was definitely me and my little brother and my buddies when we went, let's go to the top row. Let's go all the way up there. But see, if you got the neon shirt, the camp counselor can say, okay, there's little Will and Josh and TJ. They're up there. See the shirt? Okay, as long as they're back here by the 7th inning, we're okay because the bus has to roll at that point. That's the kind of game this is. The Marlins, get all the camp counselors and the summer camps, get them on the buses, and get them there to fill the seats. $5 tickets.
Yep. More listeners than Pirates, Marlins. Andrew in Franklin, not Andrew Franklin, on our text line says, give me fuel, give me fire, give me Nino Niederreiter. Very well done, Andrew. I like it. I mean, I think that, to me, he is number one, but I don't think it's realistic. I just think his asking price is going to be too much.
Now, if he's still sitting there in another couple days.
Yes, exactly. That's my point. Now, it doesn't mean he can't come down, but he would – if you're asking me what fits what they do, you're talking about a huge upgrade on that second line and fitting what they do. He is the huge upgrade and fits what they do guy. Niederreiter is number one for me as well, but I think the price tag is going to have to come down significantly. James on our text line. James from Clarksville. Why not go after Dylan Strome? He's young and skilled. So
yes.
We talked about him earlier. So if Ryan got 5 years, which I think is too much, what is Dylan going to command?
I think obviously everybody was surprised. Now, Dominic Kubalik signed with Detroit on a 2-year deal. He, to me, is not quite as exciting as Dylan Strome. Dylan Strome's a center. He's been top 6. He's got value. There's no way he's getting a 1-year deal. I think people are still having trouble wrapping around the idea that it's hard for the Predators to sign anybody past 1 year right now. I know it stinks, but for this year and next year, they're kind of stuck until they know what they're going to pay Jeannot and Carrier. And if you say, well, just worry about it later, well, that's how these teams get into this situation where they have to give players away, which is exactly what Vegas did. Vegas was that team that said, hey, trade for Jack Eichel. You know, guys, that's going to put you like $12 million over the cap. Don't worry about it. Trade for him anyway. And here they are. They're giving players away. So David Poile's not going to roll that way. So
let me tell you,
Dylan Strome's not getting a 1-year deal. I don't think. If he is, great, but I don't think he's going to take it. He's going to get term from somebody, don't you think?
The other part of this is what you're going to hear on Friday. At some point, these guys have to come into play. Like, how long are you going to let Zachary Leroux just keep developing? How long Evangelista? Like, how long are these guys going to keep Svechkov? I don't know. He's over in the KHL. Like, at some point, also, these young guys are going to have to give their opportunity as well. So you can't keep signing people to 4- and 5-year deals. There's no room. Like, you have to have a mix of the young guys as well. And they've got all these, first and second round picks sitting there in the system that are developing. And they're going to be ready. Like, somebody's got to be ready in the next year or two. So, you want to address that second line for this year, but you don't want to address it for the next 4 years.
Right.
And hamper their development, right?
Exactly. You're dead on right. Because unless you're completely giving up on Tolvanen and Tomasino, you've got to give a pathway for those guys to have a chance. Or even somebody who hasn't done it yet, like Evangelista, even a Cody Glass. Who knows? Maybe the light goes on there. Like, there's got to be some pathway for those guys to jump in there, because those are gold to have guys that are making less money give you good production internally. But there's room for one guy on a short-term deal. I don't know if you can squeeze a second year out of there, but really I think ideally it's 1 year. That's just how I see it. Now, maybe they'll have to get creative. Maybe they'll have to move some other. We talked about Tolvanen, Fabro, guys who are still very, very young that I don't think they want to move. But if you're clearing space, it comes back to this too. What kind of raise is Tanner Jeannot going to get? What kind of raise is Alex Carrier going to get in a year? You could work on those deals this year. They're a year away. You could have some conversations on that. I had somebody throw out there $3 million for each guy. Is that unrealistic? They were both two of the top 10 rookies in the league last year. Now they're unique because they're a little bit older, right? Mm-hmm. So what does that do? I think it's a very debatable topic of what exactly you would pay. I think you'd get a lot of different answers. But I don't think Tanner Jeannot is going to play for $1.5 million next year if he has any kind of season. Like, wouldn't you bet on yourself
no.
if you're Tanner Jeannot?
Yes.
And say, you know what, I'm gonna prove to you that I can do this again, and then we're really gonna talk. You gotta be prepared to give him a pretty good raise. You know, I don't think if he's a special player, which we all think he might be, right? He's a late bloomer, but he's special. I don't think you're gonna get him for the David Poile discount of, hey, let's get you the 3 years at 1.7. He's gonna want more than that.
Well, I do want to see the follow-up season. I really
Absolutely.
do. I'm very curious to see with the breakthrough that he had last year and the incredible season that he had last year. I know he faded down the stretch, but look, the numbers are the numbers. It's still over 82 games, and it's a pretty impressive resume. By the way, his resume looks better than some of the guys we've been listing. Okay, so it was still an impressive, but I do want to see the follow-up. I am curious to see what is the follow-up. Now, help me with this because I'm just reading it word for word, and I want you to help me understand this text, but it's because I think I'm a little confused. David in Hermitage on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com. Give Miller and Saros in goal and Colorado losing Kadri and their new goalie. I think we would be a lot closer to Avs. Make the deal. It can be done. I'm reading it word for word, so I didn't
He's
follow.
saying if you could get JT Miller.
Okay, get JT Miller.
And with Colorado losing Kadri, you're closing the gap. You would look.
Oh, he's not
way
saying
better
give
on
away
cable.
Saros. He's saying with Saros in goal.
Yeah.
Is that what he said? Well, Colorado though did address their goalie situation, and
they did.
They believe they've got, their next guy, right? They've locked him up.
Yeah.
So,
Georgiev. We'll see. They may have upgraded there. They may have stayed the same. We know they're going to be really, really good. They've been very smart, I think, when you get down to it. They've managed the cap pretty darn well so far. They've got the makings of a run. Now, next year, they got some major questions.
Yeah,
major
but David
questions.
didn't address what you have to give up for Miller, though. Like, we're in agreements. Like, I get it. Massive improvement. Massive. And, yes, McDonough, bringing back Forsberg and adding JT Miller, does the gap shorten? Yeah.
Yeah.
Significantly. But what do you have to pay? What's the cost to get him? That's that's what we don't know.
Whatever the cost is, Vancouver hasn't liked the phone calls they've gotten because if they did, they would have traded him by now. He's been shopped for a while at this point. The other thing I don't know is if JT Miller and his group are they telling Vancouver, look, I want a long-term deal with, and I don't know that he has any kind of no trade protection to be able to dictate that. These are the things we're going to have to try to find out from Elliott at 1 o'clock.
We will do that. We will continue the discussion on the other side to begin the third hour. Also, Ryan McDonough will join us at some point in the third hour as well. Elliott Freeman, the last installment with him at 1 o'clock. More DDC next here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
You love the game.
Duchesne scores! Titans touchdown!
We live the game.
He's more of a physical receiver.
Are you looking for him? Is he making plays?
We are.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
The leading receiver.
Awesome game set.
Checker flag in the air.
The Game. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen. Parman Tractor and Equipment is your one-stop tractor and equipment solution, and Middle Tennessee's Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer. No matter how you're getting there, start with Parman Tractor and Equipment. Rent or purchase a track loader, mini excavator, large excavators for your job site, or something in between. Their service and parts team will get your work site up and running in no time. Parman Tractor and Equipment will come to you for service if needed. Visit ParmanTractor.com for more info. Your Middle Tennessee Link Belt and Takeuchi dealer, providing totally outrageous customer service.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Hillside Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Hillside Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 615-576-5000. That's 615-576-5000. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Hillside Medical Clinic now, 615-576-5000.
Hey, it's Jared for TriStar Moving. If you're looking to move, you need to give my friends at TriStar Moving a call. At TriStar Moving, you'll get 5-star service throughout the entire process. Everything will be taken care of, from covering your floors, banisters, railings, front door thresholds, furniture, TVs, and more. They took great care of my move and made it as stress-free as possible. If you're looking to move, give TriStar Moving a call, 615-640-1219, or visit them at nashvillemoving.org/radio and get 5% off your entire move. TriStar Moving, my official movers.
Jump into the thrill at Bally's Evansville Casino. Play to win with lots of slots and live and electronic table games. Visit the High Limit Room for an elevated experience. Take a break with a cold tap house brew or a snack at the deli. For more elegant dining, check out the flavors, river views, and music at Cavanaugh's. Enjoy a relaxing stay at the Bally's Hotel or the luxurious Legends Tower. Plan your casino getaway at Bally'sEvansville.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-9-WITH-IT.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT-FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne.
Robbie and Rex Road to DDC.
Still in cavity. Nashville's best sports talk. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
The leading receiver.
Awesome game center.
Checkered flag in the air. The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Informative conversation while you work. This is the DDC. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Third hour DDC here on this Thursday afternoon. Hope everybody's having a great day. Darren McFarland and Willie Daunic with you. Ryan McDonough. Maybe 15 minutes, maybe a little bit longer, not sure. He's doing some things over at the offices of the Preds. So when he's freed up, remember he did speak with the media as well. So we'll talk to him here coming up shortly. Our first chat with him, new Predators defenseman. You know, a lot of times, Willie, on the show, I really praise the listeners for the text line. I really do. Because, you know, there's days when I really, really enjoy the text line. There's also days when it's like, you know, you can do better. Like, it needs to be better. And today, we're getting a lot of, like, just getting some weird text. And some, you know, you can do better.
Maybe it's the heat.
So, you know, when I praise a lot on, you know, the text line makes me laugh a lot. It brings joy. Today, like, you can do better. Like, you got it in you. Come on. We're getting some weird text. I mean, just some weird ones. Like, come on. You took the time to write that. Come on. You can do better. So this is a plea. You can do better. Let's bring it a little bit stronger, okay? That's all I'm going to say. I'm going to leave it at that. Let's go to Matthew on our phone line, driven by WilsonCountyHonda.com.
Yeah, you guys have been talking about cap space. I was just curious, is Turris still on the books? And if so, when does he come off the books?
2059.
He's got the Bobby Bonilla special.
That's a joke. Not 2059, but he does get a $2 million bump every year, right?
Every year for the foreseeable. Yes.
Yeah. It's a good deal. It's good to be Kyle
In fact, I can tell you exactly here as I pull up the.
Do you really want to, though?
I think they ran out of room on the page, on the webpage. It's through 2027, 28. $2 million per year off the top. But if it makes you feel better, the next 3 years, this is what's coming off the top of Minnesota's cap. 12.7, 14, and 14 for Parisi and Suter.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of teams have one of these. So it's
And you say, is it going to affect them? Well, it did. They lost their leading scorer in the offseason, Kevin Fiala, traded to L.A. He led them in goals last year. So is it going to affect them? Yeah. I mean, when I look around right now, just today, as we sit here, and, I don't know how much. There's not a ton more to do. There's been a whole lot of activity. I will say this. My early assessment, just looking at the lay of the land in the Predators division and in the Western Conference, I think it's got significantly weaker. I don't think the Western Conference and the Predators division is still murderer's row. I really don't.
It's still really good.
But it's not. It's really good is not where it's been.
Not where it's been.
It is not where it's been. Winnipeg is, I think, out of the picture. Chicago and Arizona are completely out of the picture, off the grid, under the radar, whatever you want to say. They're not even a factor in this. Winnipeg, I'm sliding them out. Dallas, I've been trying to write them off, and they won't go away. So they're a little bit of a pest. So I have to keep them in the mix, but I don't think they're as strong as they've been.
Well, they've got let's look at Dallas, okay? Dallas has Joe Pavelski, who is the ageless wonder to this point. He's 38. They re-upped with him for 5.5. Can he still be what he's been? Maybe. I mean, if there's a guy that could do it, it's him. They are still shouldered with Tyler Seguin and Jamie Benn, who are
old.
Well, they're not that old, but they're just
feels like
not.
they're old.
It feels like it. They're 32 and 30 right now. I don't know when they turn.
Gosh, they feel a lot older than that.
But they both make huge money. Ben makes 9.5 for 3 more years.
Who's 30?
Seguin is 30. He makes
only
9.8.
Wow.
9.85 for 5 more years.
I thought those guys were pushing closer to mid-30s. Wow.
That is almost a quarter of your salary cap on those two guys. So it makes it tough. I don't believe they're going to be able to pull this off, bring back Klingberg. That was what there was some talk about. But they signed Colin Miller, another defenseman, a budget move, 1.8. So they're pretty set on D. So how do they improve? They've got cap space, but a big chunk of it is going to go to 2 guys, Jason Robertson and their goalie, Jake Ottinger. So are they as strong? I don't know.
Minnesota, I don't think is going to be. I mean, look, they still have Kaprizov. They're still Fleury's back. They're still really good. Are they as good as last year's team? I don't think so. I don't think they're as good. Can Ryan Hartman, by the way, can he follow
duplicate
that up?
it? Freddie
Right.
Gaudreau?
Can Freddie Gaudreau? Can those guys follow up those seasons? Now look, in Minnesota, they can be sitting there going, can Matt Duchene follow up this season?
Absolutely.
Can Philip Forsberg follow up this season? Can Tanner Jeannot follow up this season?
Ryan Johansson?
I get it. Yeah, they can do the same thing, and it is more than fair.
Yes, but that's
St.
the
Louis?
point. Everybody has questions. Every team. So when you hear Twitter or other radio hosts start questioning everything that's going on with the Predators, those are valid questions. But you have to keep in perspective that everybody outside of Colorado has got key questions, and it could go either way. Take a look at St. Louis's cap. They're okay this coming year. But, man, after this year, they got a ton of guys whose contracts are up. They're going to have big changes after this coming year. And they have some guys that they've got to sign. They've got issues. So everybody is constantly reshaping, retooling, and has question marks.
Kyle on our text line, driven by WilsonCountyHunter.com, wants to know from me, would you say, Darren, the text line has been in the Brown area today? I'm not really saying the Brown area. I'm just saying I keep it at a high bar. The listeners, I just expect it to be at a certain level, and I know there's more to give. I'm just saying there's a little bit more to give today. That's all I'm saying. Look, I praise it most of the time. I'm just saying I don't know if it's Brown area, just a little bit more to give. Let's just bring it up a notch. By the way, he goes on to say Arizona and Chicago are buried behind a creepy cabin somewhere. Yeah, maybe. They're going to be out of the picture for a while. Arizona's going to be playing in front of 4,000 people. By the way, will they sell out their games? I don't know. And Chicago is not going to sell out their games. I don't care what Blackhawks fans tell me. They won't. This is why I said when all the people blow it up, who cares? Let's get the – are you going to support it? I don't believe they're going to sell out the United Center. Do you? Night in and night out? For this team that they're trotting out there?
I don't believe so.
I don't
believe so.
I don't either. Optimistic Joe. It's actually Joe from Spring Hill. The only way to get the true top 6 guy is going to be either get lucky and one of those entry-level deals hits, or addition by subtraction, parting ways with Fabro, Tolvanen, and Picks. Painful, but maybe the way. We did talk about that some this week. Do you think, and I think Robbie brought this up with us, do you believe that the only way to truly plug this up, fix that hole, is a trade as opposed to a signing?
It depends on who it is. I think if you're looking at beyond this coming year, then I find it hard to believe when you say a trade or a signing. If you're looking beyond this year, I find it hard to believe that you could commit to Jeannot, Fabro, and Carrier. Now, we talked about that budgeting of your 6 defenders, right? You got Jeremy Lauzon locked in at $2 million for the next, 4 years? I can't remember how many exactly it was. So he's locked in as like a third pair price range for a while, and you hope that he's worth that. That's a big leap of faith for him, right? But at worst, he's a third pair guy that you like. Dante Fabro is already at 2.4, and he's restricted next year. Carrier, you believe, is a top 4. He's going to need a raise. So can you keep Carrier and Fabro, and at what price? So we had a guy that really proposed it this way. He said, are Fabro and Carrier almost trying out this year for top 4 commitment? And then beyond that, do you have to get rid of the other one? That's a fair question to throw out there, just from a simple budget point. And right now, Fabro's the more expensive. He's also younger. So he's your first-round pick. Are you still believing that he's going to make a jump? Have you seen enough? It's a tough call.
All right, we need to break.
But you need defensemen.
Yep, no doubt.
You
Speaking
need
of
depth.
defensemen, we should have Ryan McDonough on the other side. By the way, Brian on our text line wants to know if the texts are coming from the Backline supporters group. I don't know, Brian. I don't know about that. By the way, you guys are turning it around. I like it. Okay, you're in the right headspace. But right now, speaking of right headspace, Chase is going to talk about Screwball whiskey that he was passing out in Columbus, Ohio yesterday.
I was, yeah, and it worked for them. So the people of Columbus get Johnny Hockey. So you're welcome, people of Columbus. But yeah, Screwball peanut butter whiskey. It is my go-to when I am out and about with my friends. I prefer it as a shot, chilled. That's how I like it. But you know what? If you want it on the rocks, you can have it that way. If you want it neat, you can have it that way. It is good no matter how you drink Screwball peanut butter whiskey. You can also make a peanut butter old-fashioned. They have different recipes. Just go to screwballwhiskey.com for more information. I've even had people tell me they like to put gummy bears in it, and it's like peanut butter and jelly. It's fantastic. I love it because it's smooth, and it's an original just like me. It's made with all-natural flavors, real whiskey, real peanuts, and real peanut butter. So when you're out and about with your friends, do like I do. Ask for it by name, Screwball peanut butter whiskey. Also, enjoy it responsibly. Copyright 2022 Screwball Spirits, LLC, San Diego, California. Made with natural flavors.
QC Kinetics patient Robert Patterson, a veteran and business owner, struggled at work and in the gym with chronic agonizing shoulder pain.
Those injuries just continue to nag, and if you don't treat them, they just get worse. And I just kind of abused my body for a long time, and it finally had said enough is enough.
That's okay, because QC Kinetics tells your pain, hey, enough is enough. Their regenerative treatments bring you relief by helping restore and repair damaged tissue with no drugs, no downtime, and best of all, no surgery.
I was able to exceed the goals that I had previously attained in the gym. It was absolutely worth its weight in gold, so I could continue to live life without limitation.
Ready to get lasting relief from your joint pain? Call QC Kinetics to learn more about how natural biologic treatments can get you lasting results. Call now. It's a free consultation.
615-249-4024. QC Kinetics, 615-249-4024.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway. Now here's Jim Mitchell.
Our fleet vehicle program is a great benefit to all the fleet companies in Nashville. We are able to get their vehicle back on the road a lot quicker than the downtime of most dealers and most general repair shops, simply because we have the transmissions available. We're able to put priority on their vehicles to get them back on the road quickly.
You know it's going to happen, and when your car needs service or repair, remember Mitchell's Mr. Transmission on Gallatin Road, just north of Briley Parkway.
I love this show.
Never miss a moment of the show.
Okay, all right, okay.
Subscribe to the DDC podcast on iTunes, Spotify, and wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to the DDC.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Back here on the DDC on this Thursday afternoon. Let's bring in newest Predators defenseman, Ryan McDonough. Ryan, thanks for calling in. Hope you're having a good day.
Oh, appreciate it, guys. Thanks for having me.
Little did you know when you were in that get-up at Nissan Stadium that you were going to be like, I can maybe get used to this outfit. And maybe not, because, by the way, we don't dress like that here in Nashville. But what was that? Little did you know, right? Like that whole really cool experience in this market, the Stadium Series in February, that you would end up playing here for the Preds.
No, I know, exactly. It was a great taste of the great fan base, the great support that the Preds have here. That was, I think, my sixth outdoor game, and
Wow.
That atmosphere was by far the loudest and most fun to play in. So Preds fans are showing some great support for the team, which will be awesome to be a part of.
So we had David Poyle on the last couple of days, and I just flat out asked him, because we hadn't had a move to get you here. I said, were you pursuing this? Did you think this was a reality, or did this kind of come out of nowhere? And he admitted to us it came out of nowhere, and he was happy for it. How about on your end? Did this come out of nowhere? I mean, everybody knew that Tampa, their cap situation, but you're a guy that's been a staple there. You've done a whole lot of winning there. Or did this take you by surprise?
Yeah, no, it definitely, is a little bit of a surprise and a shock when you hear the news, that the team wants to move you and is looking to explore trading you. And, I guess I have a little bit of experience being traded before once, and, the initial shock wears off, and then you start to wrap your head around, okay, where's a good team that is, a contender, is potential to go on some deep runs and a good fit family-wise, too, with my wife and 3 kids. And the more we explored the options, the more Nashville just kind of separated from everyone. And thankfully, like you said, it happened fast once we started talking to David Poyle and the Preds, and I'm very thankful that it worked out, because it's exciting and a great group to be a part of.
That's interesting. So, yes, you were in the other conference, but you still play each other. So you had played the Predators, you'd been here, you experienced the outdoor game. But the COVID year, I mean, you guys were in the same division, so you did see them 8 times. So kind of going through that checklist and talking with your wife, so you kind of knew the atmosphere you were going to sign up for. But did you talk to other people, other players, or anybody else that could help you with the other things you just talked about that was important to your family?
Yeah, no, I think I've seen and heard a lot over the years. Different players come through Nashville, and really haven't heard a bad thing about it from playing here, whether you're, single guy or have a family or whatnot. Just seems like great people, great organization that looks after their players. And then, competitively, like you talked about, did recently play them in a great atmosphere last year with the Stadium Series, and then the year before, like you said, 8 times. So understand the style that they play and the intensity that they expect and what they want out of each player. And like I said, just seemed to be checking more boxes as we went through everything: playing style, hockey, family life, fan base, everything that Nashville brings. So couldn't have worked out better.
You played with a pretty special defenseman and saw him day in and day out through all the winning there in Tampa, and a guy like Victor Hedman. When you see a guy like Roman Josi, and while you have it, you're now going to experience him on a daily basis and being around him, and he's the captain. What do you think when you see Roman Josi? What do you see through your defensive eyes?
Well, I think first, more importantly, obviously Noah Hedman and his character, and have a little bit of interactions with Josi over the years. We did a charity thing together over in Europe for a hockey player, and seen him around different media things. Just an unbelievable person, just solid, very respectful. Certainly a great role model and great captain here for the organization to, for a person to represent their team. And now you go hockey-wise, and you talk about a player that just kind of takes over the game at any moment and just flies around the rink, makes things happen, makes players around him better, and and expects a lot out of himself, and that rubs off to each and every other guy in the room. And so I'm looking forward to really getting to know him and his family. They just had their second kid, and so I've got 3 kids myself. We can kind of go down that road together as fathers, and hopefully develop a great relationship off the ice, and more importantly, do some great things on the ice here for Nashville and the Preds.
We're speaking with Predators defenseman Ryan McDonough. So you go from one John to another John, head coach to head coach. What do you think you're getting, and what's been your interaction with John Hines to this point?
No, it's been awesome, and like I said, just the organization reaching out and trying to get guys comfortable. We had dinner last night together, Coach Hines and Coach Todd Richards as well, who I had in Tampa when we won in the bubble. So great to have Richards, a familiar face behind the bench, and Hines I've crossed paths with different things USA Hockey wise, and certainly been a head coach and assistant coach all over this league for many years. Great experience in the league, and like I said, it was great to see him reach out and want to do dinner and just try to make me feel comfortable and welcomed here in Nashville. So looking forward to going down that next road of getting dialed in hockey wise on the ice and where it can help this team.
Talking to Ryan McDonough, Predators defenseman, traded from Tampa not too long ago, in town, greeting with the Nashville media today. Ryan, one question that's come up is, of course, you being a left shot, Roman Josi and Matthias Ekholm, top 4 guys also being left shots. I've never played defense. I don't know how tough that is for somebody to slide over. But what is that challenge like? I know you've got some time to work things out when you build chemistry with a new partner like that. But what is that challenge going to be like for somebody?
Yeah, like I said, if it ends up being something the coaches want me to play the offside, I'm comfortable doing that. I've done that at different points in my career, so we would have some time in training camp to work on some things and fine tune things, and like I said, build that chemistry. And I'm sure all of us at some points in our career found yourself on the right side for different reasons and whatnot. When talking about Ekholm and Josi, I think we'll just do whatever the coaches ask for us and work our hardest at it, and like I said, try to be successful in it. So good thing is we've got a lot of years of experience there playing defense, and kind of know what's expected of us, know a lot of the players and the oppositions and opponents that we'll be playing every night. So we got to use that experience and like I said, just make sure we're doing whatever's asked for us, and try to help each other out as much as possible back there.
You're among the top in terms of active players and number of playoff games played. You're used to going deep into the summer each year, the spring and summer playing hockey. What is the key? What has been the key for you to maintain your level of excellence after you're playing more hockey than a lot of guys, going back to even your Rangers days?
No. I mean, be honest, I've been very fortunate to be on great teams with a lot of great players, great goaltenders, and coaching staff, everybody from management, trying to put together a team to win. So very, very fortunate to have played in the playoffs a lot, gone on some deep runs, and ultimately won 2 cups. So just to say that first and foremost, I mean, ultimately it does take a great amount of sacrifice, a great amount of buy-in from a team. Each individual trusting the coaching staff and believing in each other, and almost going out there and playing for the guy next to you as opposed to yourself. So like I've said, there's been some great runs here in Nashville over the years, a core group that's been together for a while, and right away from talking to a handful of them and the staff, everybody, there's a great hunger and desire to want to take that next step and hopefully bring a cup here to Nashville. So to be a part of a group like that is awesome as a player, to keep that competitiveness, that hunger. The reason why you play this game. So I'm looking forward to it for sure.
You mentioned before when you got traded from the Rangers to the Lightning. The Lightning were looking for that last piece. They were looking to win. You were a captain with the Rangers. You go to a team that had that established leadership group. I'm sure there's some similarities here, but going back to that time, how did you bring those leadership skills into a new locker room and, try to set the example, but sort of work your way in to the culture that already existed there?
No doubt. I mean, it's a process. It's more importantly trying to build relationships with everybody, get to know guys, get to know their families, just have that kind of caring aspect for your teammates, the guys that you're going out and competing hard next to. You build up that trust with one another, that, kind of love and respect for one another. It just kind of transfers on the ice, and you go out and you see the team play with a lot of passion, compete hard, and just know that, like you said, we're all going through this together. We're all trying to accomplish this together. And if we really, like I said, try to dial it in and pull in the same direction, then that's when special things can be accomplished as a team. So just really getting excited to, come training camp time, get the ball rolling there.
All right, before we let you go, I didn't know this about you until the trade. We had a gentleman on from down in Tampa that informed me that your uncle is Steve Walsh, the quarterback from back in the day. Now, I'm old enough, Ryan, that I grew up in Florida. I used to watch your Uncle Steve every week for the U with Michael Irvin, all those great teams. Man, he was an incredible college quarterback, played for a long time in the NFL as well. Have you seen the 30 for 30 on the U? You have to have, right? He's got to have showed you that.
Sure. Absolutely, yeah.
So what's he like? What's he been like to look up to? You have a family member that went through all that. That had to be a good influence.
It was unbelievable. He was, obviously one of my biggest idols, if not my biggest idol growing up. Just to be able at a young age, firsthand get some experience, going into the locker room, going onto some of these NFL fields and watching him play. And you talk about the quarterback position. You got to be the ultimate leader, the ultimate, guy dialed in on everything, know where everybody's supposed to be, and be a motivator out there. So just to kind of have him as a resource, as I've started my career and gone about my career, different things have happened. It's been, so important for me and everything that I've been able to accomplish. So looking back on it, he's been huge, and it was fun. He was playing the NFL. I love the NFL because of it, and don't have a favorite team that I'm necessarily loyal to, because I was always cheering for whatever team he was. Even being from Minnesota, everybody's like, oh, you got to be a Viking fan, but no, I mean I was truly just a fan of whatever team he was on. So it's been unbelievable to have him as a resource, and he's been so supportive of me over my career too.
That's awesome. By the way, you get to start off in your Predators uniform. Pretty cool trip to start off the end preseason to start off the regular season, huh? Not bad.
I know, that's awesome. It's a great way to get to know all the guys and spend 10 days over there in Europe. And like everybody says, it's a great experience for Yossi. It'll be awesome for me to spend some time with the guys and get to know everybody.
no doubt. Hey, thanks for doing this. Welcome to Nashville, and we look forward to talking to you down the road.
All right, sounds good. Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me.
All right, that is Predators defenseman Ryan McDonough. Good stuff there. We will come back and continue the discussion on the other side here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
If you're on the road between downtown Nashville,
they're still in good shape to make the playoffs,
and I-840,
players make it clear they don't want to be somewhere anymore.
There's a new way to hear all your favorite shows and sports programming on 102.5 The Game.
I go back to that play and I shake my head. What I was worried about is that they were still just going to keep the goal.
It's 106.3 FM.
Think about all the good Titans teams. This is very much so a run-first offense.
Now you have two choices to hear Nashville's best sports talk. Check out 106.3 now and add it as a favorite.
Winning this award is truly like winning the Super Bowl of car dealer awards for Mercedes-Benz.
Edwin Vickery, General Manager of Mercedes-Benz of Music City.
Culture eats strategy for lunch. You have to hit on all cylinders to win this award. You can strategize all you want. You got to still have the right tools, and our tools are our people.
Live the dream with three-time Mercedes-Benz Best of the Best Award winner, Mercedes-Benz of Music City. Go to mbofmc.com.
Tune in to ESPN 102.5 The Game every Tuesday afternoon at 4:30 for ESPN's Trevor Maddich joining me, Jared Stillman, on Stillman & Company as we dive deep into the college football world and all the latest from the SEC. It's all brought to you by Houston Clinic Orthopedics, when experience matters.
Hey, it's Mark Howard here. You've heard me talk about my friends at Apple Collision Centers for a while now, and today I'm here with CEO Stan Harrison to tell you about how they can help ease your stress with your auto body repair.
That's right, Mark. We have 3 convenient locations: Old Hickory, Hendersonville, and Gallatin, ready to serve you. Our people are homegrown right here in Middle Tennessee with over 75 years experience. We can help with all your auto body repair needs.
So stop by and see Stan and his team today and tell them Mark sent you, or visit them online at applecollisioncenters.com.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. That's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Darren McFarland.
A lot of dots to connect there, a lot of storylines.
Willie Daunic.
Be careful what you wish for.
And Chase McCabe.
Yes, because it's my favorite.
Get through your workday with Darren, Daunic, and Chase. Weekdays 10 to 2.
Great 3-man band live. Fired up.
Let's go.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
I think they would love to see that.
Watch live on YouTube, Twitch, and Periscope.
When you see that, click on it.
Saturday night.
Bell drives one to right. Out of here. Maria sends one deep left center. And goodbye.
It's a National League battle as the Giants host the Brewers. Coverage begins at 5:30 on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is Roman Yossi. You're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Good stuff. Ryan McDonough joining us back here on the DDC. Elliot Friedman will join us at 1 o'clock to begin the final hour. That's going to be our final installment of Elliot for this very long season. A full season through the playoffs and all the way through the draft in free agency, or at least the bulk of free agency. So we're really proud of that and happy that Elliot was willing to do that. So he'll join us at 1 o'clock, and then he'll take a little time off from our show and then rejoin us, hopefully when the season begins next year. He's been doing this for many years, and, man, we look forward to it. every year. So we've got some things to pick his brain about coming up at 1 o'clock.
Man.
Thing or two.
Yeah. Oh.
You got the suit.
Suit in
You
the
got the
house.
I'm hanging out for a few minutes. I got some meetings, real important stuff coming up at 1. But
what you got on the docket? Anything?
Top secret.
Can't divulge.
Can't divulge. But good stuff. Good stuff with Ryan McDonough too.
Oh man,
he seems like he's going to be, somebody that'll be fun to talk to in the locker room now that we can do that again.
You could tell he's done the New York media thing.
Yep.
He's done the big time Stanley Cup. Final spotlight media thing. He's not buckled by any question. Not that we, fired off tough questions, but he was ready for everything. Like the lefty thing. He knew that question might be coming. And I thought he made a good effort to, share a little bit of his personality there. He's just he's got a presence.
He was good. I know he's won the 2 cups. He's played in 3 or 4 finals.
Well, he just played 3 in a row.
Yeah, I know he played 3 in a row.
One with the Rangers.
The Rangers made it in 2014.
That's right.
I lost to the Kings.
I thought there was one in there with the Rangers.
Yep.
The Rangers made some, back then when he was playing for them, they made some pretty deep runs.
Yep.
No doubt. And I mean, I'm going to throw this at you guys because I was talking to Porth this weekend about him, and he made a very interesting comment that I think I agree with. That from adding somebody to the locker room, just a good leader that you're adding to the locker room, he might be the biggest addition since Mike Fisher from that standpoint.
I do think of a Mike Fisher from that standpoint. Obviously it's a different position.
Yeah,
but at the stage of his career too.
Yeah,
where he's a little bit advanced. He comes in with a lot that he's bringing to the table. He's got to mesh with the leadership group, but he seems like he's got the capability of being able to do that. He doesn't have to have the spotlight on him. He absolutely did that in Tampa, and Mike Fisher did it here. When he came, Shea Weber was the captain, right? But and Mike Fisher was captain material all along. He didn't become the captain until after Shea Weber, right? So Mike Fisher did a tremendous job of bringing leadership qualities to the room without saying, "Look, I've got to be the captain. you got to look to me."
But I think he helped Shea Weber grow into that role because it was a year
and I think
after.
Ryan McDonough will help Roman Josi in that.
Yeah,
capacity.
and I could even argue that Mike helped Roman when he came out of retirement in Roman's first year as captain. But
for sure,
and I think the leadership group on this team is strong. It showed last year. Roman has really grown into that role. I think Forsberg has grown into a leader on this team. Matthias Ekholm speaks for himself, but adding another guy into the mix from that standpoint, I think people sometimes don't realize just how important that really is.
I think I brought that up yesterday or the day before. I think that was exactly what I brought up, and I said they've added Ryan McDonough to the room, and they need another guy, in my opinion, like that in the room. I just think they do. And I brought up Mike Fisher and Shea Weber, guys that don't necessarily have to be yellers and screamers and flipping tables over and challenging guys to fights whenever they're not performing, but guys that just, one, they command their presence. They command a presence, okay, right? Their presence commands the room. And two, they just lead by example. And I know the room is fine, but I do think they need a little bit more of that element in there. I really do.
It will help.
And I think McDonough will help, but I think they could use one more guy, if possible, in the room to help with that.
And that
I
is
really
something.
do. That's what I brought up yesterday or the day before.
We weren't allowed to do this. I was dying to get his opinion. I would love to know. We've had conversations about Alex Killorn. He was actually traded with JT Miller from the Rangers to the Lightning once upon a time. It was McDonough and Miller for a package. I would not be surprised at all if somebody hadn't already said, hey, we're looking at these guys. This is what it might take, because we mentioned both fit the profile of what they're looking for. They each have 1 year left on their contracts. Miller, we know, is being shopped around. It's just a matter of what it would take to get him.
I think that's kind of where I've gone at this point with what's left and moves that have been made. JT Miller, to me, would be
To me, he's
be
the best
one.
player that you could get, but the question is, how complicated is it? Can you put together a package that would be appealing to Vancouver? Vancouver is up against the cap. They have to clear room. Tampa has to clear room.
Yeah,
Those
Killorn
guys
would be good too, but
yeah. But it goes back to, Darren, what you're talking about. I think both of those guys probably bring some veteran leadership, as well as what they're going to bring you with the stats and the analytics.
If you're asking me just to rank on what they do, I actually think Niederreiter fits more of what they do. His elements, what he brings to the table, I think he probably fits it more. But look, the guys we're talking about, these options are good. These are the best options for sure. And I know Kadri, we're just kind of like leaving out of the mix because it's going to be too much, and maybe all these guys are going to be too much. I'm not sure, but I think actually Niederreiter, like when you think about what he does on the ice to the style of play that they bring night in and night out, and his production levels, I mean that would be a monster upgrade. But so would Miller, and Killorn would help out for sure. I mean they're all really, really good options. But I'm just saying, I think you guys were saying JT Miller is one. If you're asking me, I probably would have, with that being said, Niederreiter one.
Yeah, but I don't know if you're getting him on a 1-year deal.
Well, I understand. That's probably why he's going to have to – that's why he hasn't been signed. So
it has been quiet today, right?
Clearly, it has been quiet.
Yeah.
Well, so I'll admit something. We talked to David Poyle on Tuesday, and he pretty much showed his hand of what he wanted to do. That he told us he was kind of looking for somebody in that 1-year range. Now, I took that as, yeah, but I bet he'd probably give somebody a 2-year deal if that's what it was going to take.
That's what I want.
And with David Perron, who I had been saying I thought would be a great fit, what did he sign for?
2 years. 4.75.
Right in that range that I thought the Preds could get him for. And I don't know I have no idea if the Preds were in on it or not. But the fact that he goes to Detroit on that, it does make me wonder if the Preds were in on him. Was David just steadfast on a 1-year deal because he was looking 3 steps ahead?
The 4.75 is right in the sweet spot of what they can do this year. It would squeeze them next year under their current structure in the wild card. And let me throw this at you, Chase, because Darren and I were kicking this around. How much of a raise are we talking next year for Jeannot and Carrier? You certainly hope, if you have the team and the season you want to, that those guys have another productive year. They're going to be due for a pretty big raise, and you got to get them in. Now, you're going to get relief in a couple years, right? But that first year of their new deals, you got to get it in with only a $1 million raise to the cap.
Well, and you're probably, you're looking at Jeannot, Carrier, Fabro.
Yes.
And you're probably only going to be able to keep 2 of the 3.
Well, that is
under the current right now.
Right.
And, to answer how much of a raise they're going to get, I mean, I think for Carrier and for really all of them, go do it again. Like, Jeannot especially. Jeannot had a special year last year. I kind of need to see it again.
Well, he was pretty special in the brief period of time of the season before that.
Yeah. But now you've done the full season, and he did fall off.
He did fall off
towards the end of the season.
He fell off and still had 24 goals. That's
right.
The thing. So even if he falls off a little,
but if I'm doing my job as a GM, I'm making a little note of that, and that's going to factor in. I mean, it's a part of the business. It's part of the negotiation part that. I'm sure in the Philip Forsberg stuff that the fact that he doesn't play 82 games a lot probably came into play. So I mean, that's the job you have to do. But
they're going to get raises. If you tripled their
salary. But I don't think it's going to break the bank. I mean, but they're going to get raises, but I don't think it's going to be.
But it's going to affect your cap. You only get $1 extra million against the cap. They're playing at $700,000 right now. If you tripled their salary, that's 2.1 each. That's not unreasonable. Now, what does David Poyle like
I probably
to do
put
with guys
Jeannot
like
in the 2 to 2.5.
Yeah, but what if he has a big year? These are the things that I know they kick around.
24 is even if he duplicates, that is a big year.
Yeah,
I think you could see him. I'm very curious to see what Trenton is looking to get after 17 goals?
$2 million.
Well, if he's
well,
$2
that's
million,
right.
then what's
if you're
Jeannot?
putting him at 2, then you're.
Yeah, then Jeannot might be 3.5.
I had people saying 3.5 for Jeannot. I don't know. It depends. Obviously, it depends on what he does this coming year. But remember another tactic that David Poyle likes to do when he bets on his guys, and he says these guys are core guys. You try to lock them up for multi-year at a price you can fit into your budget.
Mm-hmm.
And so does he try to do that with Trennan this year? Jeannot and Carrier, you could work on their deals this year, a year in advance. You could do that.
Yeah.
But remember, the problem is next year's cap only goes up by $1 million. That's the problem that everybody's dealing with right now. This year is one thing. Next year is a problem for a lot of teams because it only goes up $1 more million.
If I could get Trennan on a Calle Yarncroke deal, I'd take that all day long. Like 6 years at 2 per or whatever.
Oh, that type of deal.
Yeah.
But don't you
Which
think
I
the
don't think
ceiling is higher?
I think it's higher.
Way
right?
higher.
He would be doing himself a disservice if he took that.
Yeah, I don't think he's taking it. If I was his agent, I would say no.
Yeah.
Remember, Scott Hartnell turned down one of those deals once upon a time.
Yeah.
And it paid dividends for him.
Yep.
And unfortunately, the Predators had to trade him because of it.
Jeff on our text line says Ryan McDonough went to the same high school as Joe Mauer. Huh.
There's the next time we talk to him. That's
How
going to
about
get
that?
asked. Oh, man, that's great.
It's good to know. We will definitely run that by him the next time. All right, we'll come back, close up shop for the third hour. We'll do that next here on 102.5, 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
At some point, it's a combination of who did you play and what does your skill set look like.
Get the best analysis of the big stories in the sports world with ESPN's Jason Fitz.
If you reach for a quarterback in the draft because you need one, you're going to set your franchise back 5 years.
Join Fitzy every Wednesday at 4:30. Presented by Blood Assurance. Jason Fitz.
I am 5'9.5"
on ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. Staying dry but also staying warm. Our streak of 90-degree days will continue. The next 3 days, low to middle 90s and increasing humidity into the weekend. All 3 of those days loaded with sunshine as well.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Hey, Willie Daunic here. Are you feeling the sting of higher interest rates and higher costs? Those credit cards and other loans are costing more and more every month. And inflation is making everything else more expensive. Your home can save you right now. Your home value is up, and there's a ton of cash in it that you can access with Loan Pronto. Loan Pronto specializes in zero-cost cash-out home refis. You can get tens of thousands in as little as 2 weeks. Pay off those 23% rate credit cards and other monthly budget. If your home mortgage rate goes up a point or so, it's offset by your credit card rate going to zero. So call Loan Pronto now and unlock that equity and wipe out the bad debt. Do it now. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. Call 615-499-5780 or go to loanpronto.com. That's 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Summer heat is here. How is your air conditioner holding up? Costs are rising everywhere. Grocery bills, gas bills, utility bills, you name it, up, up, up. Is your AC old, inefficient, costing more than it should? Interest rates are rising, but not at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Qualified buyers have up to 72 months. No interest for a new York air conditioner and 6 months no interest for repairs. That's at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. All new systems come with a 10-year parts and labor warranty. That's at Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. A York certified comfort expert company. Schedule now at springhillac.com.
Zines First is the official sign company for 102.5 The Game. Go to sfnash.com.
Your company's hiring. Who isn't? We would love to show you how to use 102.5 The Game to attract and retain employees. We can also help you find the exact person you're looking for with a targeted digital campaign. You can trust our team to help you build your team. Email us at together@cromwellmedia.com.
This is a big month for some of our teammates at Cromwell Media. At 102.5, 106.3 The Game, producer Kenny Adams is celebrating a 10-year anniversary. Also at The Game, morning show producer Michelle Knezovic and part-time producer Nick Keyser are both crossing the 1-year mark. At 102.9 The Buzz, Eric Steele, our rock star evening host, and Andy Herron, a part-time host, have been with us for 8 years. We are Cromwell Media and proud of our employees who commit themselves to excellence every day. Want to join our team? Contact us at together@cromwellmedia.com.
Jared Stillman.
If you get 3 games where he doesn't turn the ball over, you're going to the Super Bowl.
Caroline Fenton.
I don't know if he would be open to joining another team.
Stillman and Company. Afternoons from 2 to 6.
Presented by TriStar Moving.
On Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN.
102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app. You're listening to the DDC.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
Sounds Baseball, Game 3 of the 6-game homestand tonight. Memphis Redbirds, First Horizon Park. Pregame starts at 6:50. First pitch, 7:05. 94.9 The Fan. Sounds Baseball, presented by 312 Pizza. Hungry. And Farm Bureau Health Plans. Back here on the DDC. The gang is here for the time being until Chase goes and has a meeting.
Yep.
That's coming up shortly.
Big things. Big important things.
1 o'clock, Elliot Friedman. Been kind of quiet
Must
today.
listen. That's going to be a must listen, though.
Yep.
Yeah,
But
I
you
am
know
sad
what?
I'm going to miss Elliot.
I think there were. Let's just use the Columbus reference since they signed Johnny Gaudreau. A lot of people fired off a lot of cannons yesterday with the artillery that they had built up. I think a lot of teams are like, okay, the dust, the dust is settling, the cloud is dissipating. What's left, and what do we have left? Like, there's a couple of people that didn't fire, Predators being one of them, and Lou Lamoriello and the Islanders being the other. They're the only two teams that did not make a single move yesterday. And so everybody's kind of looking at the landscape going, okay, what's the next move? But certainly there's still some big things out there with Kadri and Dylan Strome and some of the guys we mentioned.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nino.
I'm curious of Kadri. I really am. Like, not here. I don't see that being a thing that's going to happen here. But I'm curious if he ends up back in Colorado or – the fact that he's still on the market kind of makes me wonder, everybody was saying he's going to get a 7-year deal and he's going to get all this money. Did people overestimate the market for him, even though he's a dang good player? And what kind of player he is, and he's somebody that gets under the skin of other teams, but at his age, I wonder about a 7-year deal for a lot of money.
Well, and who can do it at this point?
Yeah. Well,
who's still got the – after the smoke is cleared, who's still got that left to dole out? I mean,
right.
The obvious is what I brought up earlier. I mean, Calgary is the obvious. They had $80+ million to give to Johnny Gaudreau. He flew the coop and went to Columbus, where apparently nobody was going anymore. Players were trying to get out of there. He went to Columbus, and so we know there's a big, giant void with Johnny Hockey. So, I mean, you got to fill it. I mean, they're going to go nuts in Calgary, so I would assume Kadri and some of these guys that we're talking about, somebody's going to get their payday from the Flames, I would think.
I would hope.
JT Miller, Kadri, one of these big names, these big productive guys is going to get, a much bigger contract or a much bigger offer than what Nashville can bring to the table. So I suspect one of these big names that we're tossing around is going to end up in Calgary. I can't imagine they're going to let Johnny Gaudreau, he's walking, and they're going to get nothing in return, and that's all, and they're just going to fill it with what, draft picks? I mean, young guys, I don't think so.
Well, and,
especially when they already admitted, hey, we were willing to give you the moon to come back.
Yeah. I mean, JT Miller is an interesting one because obviously that's a trade that they would have
that's
to
a trade,
work
and
out. But
I don't think Vancouver is going to trade him to Calgary.
They're not going to trade in the division.
So that's intriguing. Now, Kadri, that's one you got to figure they're in on that, at least looking at it. But everything starts with Tkachuk. Like I think I heard a lot of people talking about this yesterday. There is definitely a sense that Tkachuk feels the same way Gaudreau does.
Yeah.
He's an American player. It's been playing his entire career in Calgary. He's had great success. But does he want to get out of there? Would he rather play in St. Louis or play somewhere in the States? And I think if you're Brad Treliving, fool me once but don't fool me twice, right? Treliving, he walked right up to the altar with Gaudreau. He gave him all the time and space that he wanted and then got left. You can't let that happen with Tkachuk. If Tkachuk doesn't want to be there long term, they need to know that. So I think that's where it all starts with them. But in the meantime,
well,
you got to move forward. And is Kadri one of those guys? Kadri's got to be looking around going, what's the perfect, like in his mind, what's the perfect spot for him right now?
Well,
he just came from the
I can tell you
won the whole thing. What's perfect for him?
The perfect spot for him would be to just take less and go back to Colorado.
That ain't happening.
Yeah, but what's less?
Yeah,
I mean
for 1 year.
But hey,
you want
we can laugh
have a shot at another cup.
Johnny Hockey just did it to leave. I mean,
Yeah.
he took. Man, did he leave a lot of money? Lot of money on the table.
But did he though? Because of taxes and everything in Canada. I mean, like what?
I don't know.
You have that website. I mean, I'd be curious of what the breakdown would be
between Calgary and Columbus.
Calgary on that site, the Money Geek.
Ohio has a state income tax, don't they?
Yes, they do. But
yes, they do.
It's way less expensive to live in Ohio. In fact, I did the comparison. I tweeted it out. The comparison between Newark, New Jersey, and Columbus, Ohio. It is massive, the money you save. 22%.
Well, yeah, that's New Jersey. What about Calgary, though?
Calgary, the taxes in Canada, we know it's a different system, right? You have free health care, which has got its benefits, but you give away a lot more to the government. So it's night and day. It's massive.
Like massive as in millions? Massive?
As compared to Columbus?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Big time. And some of it is how does the Canadian dollar fluctuate with the American dollar? Like, I don't know what it's like in Canada right now. Because we know inflation right now is a problem here. I don't know what it's like in Canada. I would assume they've got some of the same issues with COVID and all that stuff that have contributed to the way the economy is now. But I'm not enough of a economist to know. But when you see that he left $15 million on the table, that's true in just the numbers before you get into all that stuff.
Yeah.
But when you get into cost of living and taxes and stuff, it's
it
not
wasn't
that much.
No. I mean, he probably left
He
something
absolutely left a lot of money on the
Sure.
table because of the 8th year.
Yeah.
But he clearly wanted to leave. And he's having his press conference right now as we speak. So
Well, and here's the other thing on Tkachuk. If you're Calgary and you take a step back and you go, all right, so Gaudreau's gone, look at the rest of the team. You could build around Tkachuk.
Yeah, I don't think they're interested in taking a step back, though.
Right. Well, that's what I'm asking. Like, but if he don't want to be there, if he's basically saying like, all right, look, I'm gonna run this out till I'm a UFA and then I'm gone.
Yeah.
Just like Dubois said. I wonder if you do start shopping and just say, hey, we're gonna take it on the chin now, but we're gonna get a lot in return. To take it on the chin. I mean, you do kind of have to think that way.
They won the division last year, and you're talking about losing your 2 star players. I mean, you go back to are you even a playoff team?
Probably not.
I think they got issues. Now, also, remember, it's not exactly the easiest thing to trade. It's not as easy as it looks to trade a guy like Tkachuk.
No, because nobody has room.
Let's just say the Predators, okay? I've heard this. Tkachuk loves Nashville. Loves it. What could you offer if you're the Predators right now? Unless Calgary is willing to take one of the big contracts, Johansson, something like that.
I think that's what you'd have to do.
But is Calgary interested in that? make you better? I don't know.
Granlund.
Remember how hard
you
it
could
was
put Granlund
for
in something.
Buffalo to trade Eichel.
Yeah.
And what Vegas did, they put themselves in jail making that deal. So not a lot of teams can do that. It's time to talk to Elliot.
It is. We will do that to begin the final hour of the DDC. We do that next.
You love the game.
Duchesne scores! Titans touchdown!
We live the game.
Because if he did come back, how long would he play?
Really good after the catch. He can get open.
We are
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
The leading receiver.
Awesome game set.
Checkered flag in the air.
the game. Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
ElectronicExpress.com. We make it happen.
Men, what if I told you that now you are able to get testosterone replacement therapy in the comfort of your own home? No more weekly trips to the doctor's office. We come to you 7 days a week, 12 hours a day. Be seen by a licensed medical professional in the privacy and comfort of your own home or office. You decide. Schedule your appointment today at CoolSpringsMD4Men.com.
Ever tried to shop for a diamond online? They all look great on the computer screen, but the fact is, most reputable jewelers like Genesis Diamonds wouldn't touch them with a 10-foot pole.
These are the diamonds that nobody wants to buy. We call them the B-quality diamonds.
That's Genesis owner Boaz Ramon, who says that even diamonds with the same grade and specs on paper can be very different when you see them up close in person, especially the ones from online dealers.
Those diamonds gonna look always cloudy or dirty. It's like you're wearing your glasses and there is fingerprints all over the glass. You just don't understand, or nobody told you that the material that this diamond was cut from was not the best material.
Why risk it? At Genesis Diamonds, they screen thousands of diamonds and only choose the best of the best for maximum brilliance, sparkle, and luster. Genesis Diamonds, Green Hills and Cool Springs.
I'm Boaz Ramon, and my accent is always on value.
102.5 The Game is teaming up with Newton Motor Group and Souls for Souls to provide shoes for children experiencing homelessness in Nashville and the surrounding area. With school coming back, our goal is to raise $20,000, which will provide 1,000 pairs of shoes for kids. Please help however you can by going to thegamenashville.com/shoes. All donations go directly to Souls for Souls to give shoes to children in Middle Tennessee. Thegamenashville.com/shoes.
For the love of the climb. For the love of the fall. For the love of knowing your kids' laughter is the sweetest music there is. For the love of Tennessee. Travel safe. Brought to you by the Tennessee Department of Tourist Development, the Tennessee Association of Broadcasters, and this station.
From the Hillside Medical Game Studios, WPRT FM Pegram, WPUC HD2 Laverne, Nashville's exclusive home for the Nashville Predators. 102.5 and 106.3.
Terang, it's a high fly ball.
The leading receiver.
Awesome game set.
Checkered flag in the air.
The Game.
A Cromwell Media Station.
Informative conversation while you work. This is the DDC. Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
102.5 and 106.3 The Game and on the Game Nashville app.
Final hour, our show is presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling. Spring Hill Heating and Cooling, a York certified comfort expert company. Schedule now. SpringHillAC.com. You'll need it for these hot days here in Nashville. Darren McFarland and Willie Daunic here with you. We look forward to this every Thursday at this time. Elliot Friedman, Sportsnet, Hockey Night in Canada, 32 Thoughts. He now joins us. Boy, yesterday they were drunk in Columbus. May have been drunk around the league. There was a lot of goofiness going on. Some crazy, crazy deals. A lot of money being spent. What stood out to you the most? I know that's open-ended and crazy, but what did you make? And I know you were all over the place yesterday, so good job with your coverage. But what did you make of it?
Oh, I mean, the biggest story is the Goudreau and the Columbus, just because it kind of came out of nowhere. And one of the things I think that happened, guys, was I got a couple texts in the afternoon saying, "Watch Columbus today. Watch Columbus today." And like you guys have been in this position before when you're doing these shows. You think you know something, but you're not sure, and you've got that doubt, and you're saying, I do not have enough guts right now to do this, to put yourself out there like this. Because nobody would tell me yes or no. And when that happens, there's two things going through your head. There's, I'm right, or it's, and nobody wants to deny it to me or lie to me or talk to me, or it's people are really busy and they can't get back to me, which definitely can happen on that day. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking to myself, I think I'm right, but I don't want to be wrong. And so at about 3:25 your time yesterday, I did a hit with NHL Network where I mentioned I heard Columbus had talked to Gaudreau. I kind of softly introduced it that way. And then it started to pick up steam. And then whenever it was, about 10 minutes before I tweeted it, I was pretty sure he was going there. And then I knew for sure 10 seconds before I tweeted it. But the whole thing I was going through my head is, can this be real? Like, is this really happening? And as we saw by the fact you put on a jersey about an hour ago, it's really happening.
David Poyle kind of laid out with us on this show what kind of they were going to be in the market for, and seeing the contracts that went out there yesterday, we knew why nothing was being done on the Predators' end. But the one that we're perplexed on, the one that I've already admitted on the show today, I understand all these moves, and while there were guys that I were interested in, you see what they got, it's like, okay, yeah, that was not realistic, and that was not happening here. The only one that I've admitted that I probably, and I've already admitted that I may have thrown something across the room at, is Max Pacioretty just given away to Carolina. And I thought that was the move for the Predators if they were looking for that one-year guy and a team was giving him away. But we don't know the parameters behind the scenes. Was Vegas only going to talk to Eastern Conference teams? So do you know, can you lend some insights on how he ended up in Carolina and maybe not Nashville?
Well, I would, first of all, he has a 10-team no trade, so I don't know who's on it. Now,
okay.
I would have to say, guys, I would be surprised if Nashville was on it. Generally, I don't think Nashville's on too many no trade, especially if you've only got 10 teams. I would be surprised if Nashville was on it, especially since Nevada and Tennessee are both no-tax states. I would be surprised. But, yes, I think that would also be a big part of it. Look, like, they don't want Pacioretty torturing them in the same conference or in a playoff series. Now, if it happens in the Stanley Cup final, you can deal with that a bit more because you're in the Stanley Cup final. But, if you're Vegas, you don't want to see Pacioretty in, like, a crossover first-round series or anything like that. So I do think the Eastern Conference would have a lot to do with it. I also have to think that, like, that Dylan Coughlin, he's not like a well-known player, but he's a decent young defenseman. I wondered if that was part of it. Like, they had to give up the player too, and looking at your blue line, I'm just not sure that you guys would have had as much of a use for that. But I would bet that the Western-Eastern Conference thing would be a huge fact in that, and without knowing for sure, I would be surprised if you guys were on a 10-team no-trade list, though.
I think Nino Niederreiter, Elliott, fits what the Predators do.
Yeah.
What he brings on the ice, obviously he would be a massive upgrade production-wise on the second line, but I like the edge that he brings, the style of play. That fits into what they're looking for under John Hines. But here he sits, still nothing happened, which suggests to me, like, is his price tag too high? What do you think? Where is the Niederreiter right now, in your opinion, as we sit here today?
I heard Blues yesterday, but then somebody told me that wasn't the case. I think the toughest thing right now, guys, is that, Gaudreau was going to get his money, and he did. But his market wasn't like it used to be. If Johnny Gaudreau was on the market, there'd be 20 teams going after him. You know how many teams were serious about him? 3. And one of them was Calgary. The other was Columbus, and the other was Jersey. Like, there were a bunch of teams that either passed, like Philly, or just couldn't get anywhere close to where, the 3 other teams did. And I think what we're seeing here is a big squeeze. And I just think that some of these players, and I bet Niederreiter is one of them, and I don't think he's the only one. Like, I think this has happened to John Klingberg, too. I think that you're sitting there and you're thinking, okay, in the past the market's been this, I'm going to be fine. And now we're finding out, oh, boy, like, the market's really tight. So, like, some guys hit it out of the park. Gaudreau did. Vinny Trocheck, for example, did. But I think there's a lot of other guys who are like, ooh, wow, like, this is tight. And I think it's been a little bit tight for some of these players, and Niederreiter would be one of them. And I think now you're probably looking at a situation and saying, I better make sure that if I'm going to take something short term, that it's a situation where I can be successful, and you really break it down and pick at it. And I'm sure he's going through that right now. I think, first of all, I think you guys are going in the right direction. Secondly, I think it's a really good place to play. Thirdly, as you know, like, players that have a bit of an edge, like Niederreiter does, like, that works in Nashville. I think there's a lot of good things there, but I bet you he's sitting there and saying, if I'm going to take a shorter deal or a lesser deal, I better make sure it's in the right spot.
Elliot Friedman is with us. So, Elliot, again, trying to read what David Poile told us the other day. His concern is next year with the cap only going up $1 million. You've got Tanner Jeannot. You've got Alex Carrier. You would figure you're going to invest in those guys. Dante Fabro is up, who's already at 2.4. And this year you got to deal with Yakov Trenin. So he was kind of laying it out. And basically he said, look, I'm looking at a short-term deal. But they've got a decent budget for that. So sitting back and looking for guys you might get 1 year, I'm curious about the situation in Vancouver. They signed the Russian kid from Toronto.
Mikheyev.
Mikheyev. So they're over the cap. They've been shopping around J.T. Miller. What's the market like for a trade for J.T. Miller for 1 year right now? Or is it only going to be to a team that wants to re-up him long term?
No, I don't think there's any rules there. First of all, I'm a big J.T. Miller guy. I love the way he plays. I really do. He's a bit of his personality is definitely edgy. There's no question about that. And he really has a major presence in a room. But, that's not a big deal. We all deal with edgy people all the time. I really like Miller a lot. I think Vancouver is looking to clear space, and I think you guys could really handle that. But I think they're asking a lot. And, first of all, I should have probably considered this earlier. I think he'd be a perfect fit for you guys. I really do. I just think the Canucks, for example, we had heard during the year that they were talking with the Rangers, and the names that were being thrown around were like Filip Chytil and Kaapo Kakko and Braden Schneider, who the Rangers didn't want to give up, and that was one of the reasons the deal fell apart. But that's the kind of thing that, it's been rumored that Vancouver is looking for. So I think you would have to see, do you guys have a package like that which could entice them? Now, the one thing that really could help you here is if you're not looking to extend Miller, I think Vancouver has been very, very wary, extremely wary of allowing anyone permission to talk to him about an extension. If it's happened, as of the draft last week, I don't think it had happened. Now, there had been some sense that maybe Vancouver might change their mind on that issue, but I don't know that it's happened. But if you're just looking at him as a one-year guy, I think that would be a perfect fit. But understand that that's the kind of trade that the Canucks have been looking at.
You've joked many times over the years how crafty the Lightning are with their cap, but now that they've done all of this, the re-upping of the three younger core guys, can they keep Alex Killorn, or is he a guy that you could maybe get for 1 year?
No, I think they don't forget that those extensions don't kick in for another season, and Killorn's only got 1 year left on his deal, right?
Correct,
so,
but they're still over the cap. At least I'm looking at, they're over the cap as we speak now, aren't they?
I think you could get Killorn. I think the preference is, I heard that the preference is to keep him for one more season and then kind of go where you are from there. But, I'll tell you this. I had mentioned about a week ago in my last notes, I knew McDonough was getting traded. I had mentioned that possibly Killorn, and someone said to me, not so fast. It's not a guarantee that Killorn gets moved. So what do you want to say, 50-50? I don't know. I just was told it's not a guarantee he gets traded.
What's the market for Dylan Strome right now, who unexpectedly is out there?
I would say that I think there's a lot of teams talking to him. I think it's just, I think there's two things that Dylan Strome is looking for. One, fit, and two, best deal he can get. Because, look, he came out of a situation where he had a big end of the year and he was let go. So I think fit is going to be very important to him. I heard there were a lot of teams that have called him, a lot of them. There's a lot of competition for him, but everyone, of course, is trying to steal him, right?
No question. What about Paul Stastny? What's he got left in the tank, and is he got a market right now?
I heard that Paul Stastny would not be going on the first day of free agency, and that turned out to be true. It's good that something I said was actually true.
File that away. It's always good.
Yeah, I heard he was not going on the first day of free agency. He was going to kind of see where the dust settled and go from there. And I think that's exactly what's going to look. All I heard about Stastny is he wants to play for a contender. Wherever he goes, he wants to play for a team he thinks has a chance to win. I wouldn't be surprised, depending on what happens with Nazem Kadri, if maybe he ends up back in Denver. I know that's always a possibility. But I heard he was going to look at situations where he thought the team had a chance to win, and that was his top priority.
And finally, you have mentioned on your podcast that you've thought that there has, at least at one time or another, been interest with the Predators and Phil Kessel. What is that a guy that's maybe going to be sitting back waiting to see how the dust settles?
Yeah, I got to tell you, I didn't hear a lot about Kessel lately. Maybe that was just a thing at the trade deadline that never materialized, and maybe it doesn't happen. But I didn't hear a lot about Kessel yesterday.
Last thing, Elliot, on the way out, we're kind of in a bourbon whiskey area, where we are in Tennessee, and
I've heard about this. I've heard about this rumor. Yes.
Yeah, and I said at the beginning of the show, I'm not sure if that's the case up in Columbus. Maybe they did a bar crawl yesterday. Look, we really liked him here, but the one that we are completely confused on, how does Eric Goodbranson get 4 years at $4 million per? How much bourbon was consumed for that deal? I mean, nice guy, but 4 years at $4 million per year, what planet was Columbus thinking where he was going to get that anywhere else?
Well, I got to tell you, I was amazed. But first of all, I'm happy for Goodbranson because, as you guys say, he's a great guy.
He is
legitimately. I worked a telethon with him once. Just a
super nice guy. Yes.
Yeah. Number two, I'm always happy to see people get paid, so I'm not a jealous person. I was shocked by that one too.
Okay.
The one thing I knew was that Columbus was looking for, they got a lot of young guys on their team, and they traded for Olivier from you guys, right? So they were looking. They were worried that their young guys were getting pushed around. They felt they were a really soft team a bit last year. Actually, I don't like to use the word soft. I think because I don't want to say that they did that. I think they felt that they were pushed around last year, and they didn't want that again. Jarmo Kekalainen, nobody pushes him around. Nobody pushes Brad Larson around. They look like a wrestling tag team. I think they just wanted to make their team a little bit tougher. Now, there must have been competition for Goodbranson. That's, he did have a good year in a limited role last year, and Columbus will have to be careful with that. But I was surprised that deal. But like you guys said, I'm really happy for him. And I just have to say, I'm glad as we wrap up for the season. I'm glad that I was correct that they were going to get it done. I'm just sorry that there was so much anxiety for all you guys on the way.
How much airtime did we
dedicate to that question? and David Poyle. That's like hours. That's like
Yes.
shows, hours
Elliot,
and hours.
we always
and
talk
hours.
about the percentage of a team's salary cap. I think the percentage of our time with you, we had to be like 23% Forsberg for the season, didn't we?
Yeah, it was up there, but I'm just glad that my instinct was right. It took a lot longer than I wanted. I think it took a lot longer than Forsberg wanted. I think it took a lot longer than the Predators wanted. I know it took a lot longer than the fans wanted. But I always believed it was going to get done. I thought the 8th year and the tax advantage and his history with the Predators was going to do it. But, boy, was that closer than I thought it was going to be.
No doubt about it. And in all seriousness, we really, really appreciate another fantastic year with you. We look forward to it every Thursday. Our listeners do as well. And so we always appreciate you carving out a little time here for this market. And so thanks again. As always, have a great summer, and we'd love to do it again if you're up for it.
Well, next year, you guys I'm not the guy who gets to make hiring and firing decisions like you guys are. So if you want me back, I like doing it once a week with you guys. So if you want me back, I'm happy to come back, and hope you guys have a great summer, and that goes all the same for all the great hockey fans in Nashville.
Thank you, Elliot. Really appreciate it.
Take care, guys.
Elliot Friedman, he's the best. Back, some things to unpack after that interview with Elliot. We'll do that on the other side here on the DDC 102.5, 106.3 The Game, and the Game Nashville app.
If you're on the road between downtown Nashville,
they're still in good shape to make the playoffs.
And I-840.
Players make it clear they don't want to be somewhere anymore.
There's a new way to hear all your favorite shows and sports programming on 102.5 The Game.
I go back to that play and I shake my head. What I was worried about is that they were still just going to keep the goal.
It's 106.3 FM.
Think about all the good Titans teams. This is very much so a run-first offense.
Now you have two choices to hear Nashville's best sports talk. Check out 106.3 now and add it as a favorite.
Is your mattress keeping you up all night? Tossing and turning? Needing a new mattress but don't know where to go? Well, shop at Social Furniture today, where they sell comfort. They have all of the top brands like Sealy, Stearns & Foster's, Simmons, Serta, and Purple Mattress. Social Furniture offers sofa beds, loft beds, twin beds, queen beds, king beds, kids beds, and beds for your whole family. There's no waiting, and they have same-day delivery. Visit Social Furniture in West Nashville at 5412 Charlotte Avenue. Forget the big box store. Shop local. Shop social.
Hey, it's Jared from my official sportsbook app, the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Step up to the tee and take a swing at betting the PGA Tour on FanDuel Sportsbook. Right now, new customers can bet the tour with a no-sweat first bet. If you don't win, you'll get up to $1,000 back in free bets. Right now, I think you got to look at the guys who are red hot. You got JT and Rory McIlroy, and they have been absolutely outstanding. FanDuel's got great promotions every day. It's a safe and secure app, and you get paid fast. See for yourself why FanDuel is America's #1 sportsbook and my official sportsbook app. Download the FanDuel Sportsbook app and use the promo code JGM to get started with your no-sweat first bet up to $1,000. That's FanDuel Sportsbook, official betting operator of the PGA Tour, promo code JGM. 21 and older and present, Tennessee. First online real money wager only. Refund issue is non-withdrawable site credit that expires in 14 days. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call the Tennessee Red Line 1-800-889-9789.
If you suffer from joint pain, from arthritis, or an injury, you know the traditional treatments: pain meds, steroids, and then surgery, right? Willie Daunic here with great news. Now there's a better way, and it's here now from the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics. QC Kinetics is the nation's leader in regenerative medicine. This is an advanced, exciting, and natural alternative that can give you lasting relief using your body's own healing power. Listen, steroid shots are toxic to your joints. Pain meds can be addictive, and nobody wants to go under the knife. It's 2022, and those old ways are out. The new way is in. Regenerative medicine, restoring and repairing damaged joint tissue using natural biologics. No drugs, no downtime, no surgery. QC Kinetics and their protocols can address any pain in any joint and give you the quality of life you deserve. So call the local medical professionals at QC Kinetics now. 615-249-4024. 615-249-4024. That's 615-249-4024 for QC Kinetics.
Welcome to Lowe's Summer Savings. Find great deals across the entire store and check out the back aisle for savings you can't pass up. Get up to an additional $500 off now on select major appliances, or snag our Allen & Roth Harlow Brush Nickel Widespread Faucet. Was $99, now $79. Enjoy great savings all summer long at Lowe's. Home to any budget, home to any possibility. Appliances in-store must ask cashier to apply discount at time of purchase. Online must enter applicable promo code at checkout. Savings vary based on purchase amount. While supplies last, valid 7/14 through 7/20.
It's on. It's happening. Remember, you can watch us on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, and Twitter.
Get out of the way. I'm watching the game.
Presented by the law offices of Amanda Gentry.
I'm ready to step this up a notch.
You're listening to the DDC.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On ESPN 102.5 and 106.3 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
What's the market like for a trade for JT Miller for 1 year right now? Or is it only going to be to a team that wants to re-up him long term?
No, I don't think there's any rules there. I really like Miller a lot. I think Vancouver is looking to clear space, and I think you guys could really handle that. But I think they're asking a lot. And, first of all, I should have probably considered this earlier. I think he'd be a perfect fit for you guys. I really do. I just think the Canucks, for example, we had heard during the year that they were talking with the Rangers, and the names that were being thrown around were like Filip Hedl and Kaapo Kakko and Braden Schneider, who the Rangers didn't want to give up, and that was one of the reasons the deal fell apart. But that's the kind of thing that, it's been rumored that Vancouver is looking for. So I think you would have to see, do you guys have a package like that which could entice them? Now, the one thing that really could help you here is if you're not looking to extend Miller, I think Vancouver has been very, very wary, extremely wary of allowing anyone permission to talk to him about an extension. If it's happened, as of the draft last week, I don't think it had happened. Now, there had been some sense that maybe Vancouver might change their mind on that issue, but I don't know that it's happened. But if you're just looking at him as a one-year guy, I think that would be a perfect fit. But understand that that's the kind of trade that the Canucks have been looking at.
I got to be honest, that's the part where I really perked up. I perked up the whole interview because Elliot's always got good stuff, but boy, I started getting a little bit more excited about JT Miller. I like the part about in the room, too, because I did bring up yesterday or the day before, they could use another presence in the room like that they got with Ryan McDonough, who we talked to last hour, and he actually brought that up on his own about presence in the room, and I was like, I already know what he brings on the ice, but okay, I'm listening.
Okay,
I'm satisfied.
Okay, I'm with you. I am ready to explore the forest to find JT Miller. I'm trying to bring some things with me. Number one, remember, a trade once upon a time. JT Miller and Ryan McDonough from the Rangers to the Lightning. So Ryan McDonough knows JT Miller well. Might even be able to influence. Hey, come to Nashville for 1 year. Let's see what we got here. I don't know. But here's the real question. What are you willing to throw on the table to trade for JT Miller? If you're thinking, hey, look, we'd love it for 1 year. After that, we can't guarantee anything. We don't know beyond. We got to see what happens with Jeannot. We got to see what happens with other guys. And JT Miller is looking for a cash-in, right? For his next deal, he wants to have what a lot of these guys are getting this year. So with that in mind, right, he said there's no rules. JT Miller doesn't control this. So whoever trades for him, they get to do what they want. They can set him free or they can try to sign him. So what are you willing to offer, Darren? First-round pick? Second-round pick? A pick and a prospect?
I am going to offer him some traffic from Nashville. I'm willing to send some traffic
I'm willing
from
to
Nashville
throw that in for free. That's future considerations. That's
willing
part
to
of the
send
deal.
potholes from Nashville to Vancouver. I'm willing to ship potholes out of here.
Yeah, Vancouver's got traffic. Okay, so don't worry about that. They got serious traffic. So do not worry about that. That's a wash.
But they do have a better bus system.
Yeah, I've never tried it, so I don't know.
But the ones that just they're on the rails and they just the electric buses, right?
I don't know. I have not.
It's been a while since I've been to Vancouver. I remember that.
I remember seeing those.
Oh,
Maybe
yeah. I remember they're on the tracks.
I've been in a haze at times walking.
They're just going through downtown, and they're very quiet and they're not smoky.
Yeah, they got those usually.
I'm after that interview, I'm willing to send. I don't know. I mean, throw something at me, and I'll tell you if I'll agree to do it.
Okay.
Give me a package.
Look, I think in a perfect
and I'll
world,
say yes or no.
I think in a perfect world, you're trying to load up for this year for 1 year. I would rather not put a guy like Dante Fabro on the table. But remember, Dante Fabro's from Vancouver.
Mm-hmm.
He's got 1 year left. Vancouver's trying to save some money. But remember, Vancouver's over the cap. I don't think they're real interested in taking back a lot of salary.
Yeah.
They can't. So I think we're looking at prospects and picks. Picks that they will use in the future and prospects that they don't have to put on their roster right now, or if they do, they don't cost anything. I think that's a critical thing to remember here. They are over the cap.
If I called up our buddy Darcy Hordichuk and asked him if he'd be interested in going back to Vancouver, if a deal like this could be struck, do you think I could talk him into it? And could Vancouver be talked into that?
Is that the guy you want doing the dirty work out there?
No. I'm talking about playing. I'm saying that's part of the trade.
Oh.
We could give him Darcy back.
Okay, so this is what we don't
I
know.
Don't
this
know
is where GM.
What it's going to take. I don't know.
I'm with you. I don't know either. This is where David Poyle and his staff have to be savvy and try to figure out what other offers have been out there. You heard Elliott say it. He's been saying as much as anybody, JT Miller is on the block. He was on the block before the draft. They wanted this Mikhailov guy, and they signed him to 4 years at $4+ per year. He came from Toronto. So to do that, I think they knew they wanted to do something like that and have somebody at the same sort of price that Miller's been making. But they've been trying to trade Miller, but they can't have been really excited about what they've gotten back. So,
let me ask you something on the other side about him. Let me raise a
worth
concern.
a first-round pick. I'm throwing
while we're doing this big love fest. Let me just raise a concern on the other side. How about that? How about
please
JT
do.
Miller?
Please do.
But right now, tell everybody about Lone Pronto.
Okay, let's tell everybody about Lone Pronto. Lone Pronto right now knows, look, they want to help people with the situation we're under. Nobody loves that the gas prices are so high and cost of living right now hasn't been a whole lot of fun. It's going up. You've gone to the grocery store lately. You probably know that. So what does Lone Pronto propose? Well, your home's value is still way up, and you're sitting on a pile of money. So if you need funds for different things, whether it's tuitions, credit card bills, car loans, things that might be piling up on you, especially those that have some high interest rates, Lone Pronto can get you that cash fast with their whole loan refinance, or you can take advantage of their all-new equity line of credit program. Either option is going to help you unlock your equity and get a big check. Get that cash now to pay off these things that might be on your list. Or you got a home improvement project you want to invest in, you can use it for that. Call Lone Pronto right now and let them help you. 615-499-5780. That's 615-499-5780, or go to loanpronto.com. 615-499-5780. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166-1781, subject to lender approval.
Hey, Preds fans.
Running across to make the save is Sarah.
You can now hear Nashville's best sports talk.
The backhander, he scores!
And every Predators game on 106.3 FM.
Oh, that was a thing of beauty.
From downtown Nashville to Rutherford and Williamson counties.
Duchesne with the overtime winner.
Catch all the action on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game.
Hiller's
Home of the Free is back with more free giveaways than ever. This month, get a free programmable thermostat with select new HVAC systems. Get a free home surge protector with a whole home generator. Or enjoy a free water sensor leak detector with any tankless water heater. Better yet, we'll include interest-free financing and a free Happy Hiller Club membership with these purchases. Celebrate the Home of the Free with us at happyhiller.com.
Call the Happy Face Truck today.
Erectile dysfunction ruins sex, but it's more than that. It harms otherwise good relationships. It destroys marriages. It can cause depression and anxiety, and it can be extremely hard on a man's self-esteem. This is Kim for the Tennessee Men's Clinic, and if you're suffering with ED, if it's affecting you, I want you to know that if you're like most men, we can treat it and get you back to the man you used to be. At the Tennessee Men's Clinic, we're ED experts. Our protocols have success rates as high as 90%. We've successfully treated thousands of men in the Music City, and we have a variety of treatment options and treatment combinations that could have you performing like you haven't in years. You could even last up to an hour and experience great sex again that is satisfying for both you and your partner. In treating your health, expertise matters, so make an appointment today. Your initial appointment is only $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. Call 615-208-9090 or go to TennesseeMen'sClinic.com. Visit our website to learn more, including side effects. Treatments extra. Results vary.
312 Pizza Company is Nashville's authentic Chicago pizzeria, and they're now hiring. Work for a family-owned business and be a part of their incredible team. 312 Pizza Company is hiring for all positions, including host, waitstaff, bartenders, cooks, and more. 312 Pizza Company offers health insurance and pay time off to full-time employees. Contact Kimberly at 615-730-7888 or email at contact@312pizzaco.com. 312 is an equal opportunity employer.
Sunday. The stars of the NASCAR Cup Series head to New Hampshire for the Ambetter 301. Coverage begins at 1 on your racing station. 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app.
Hey, this is John Hines, and you're listening to Nashville's best sports talk, ESPN 102.5 The Game.
Darn tootin', Coach. Tomorrow, during our show, at 10:30, there'll be a puck drop. Now, there'll be coverage starting at 10 o'clock when we come on the air, but I think Chase is going to handle that. And then Willie and C-Mace are going to handle the play-by-play duties for the Predators Prospect Showcase game. It's going to be at Fordyce Center in Bellevue, so that'll be at 10:30. You're going to hear that actually live here, so rookies they just drafted in the draft in Montreal. Igor Afanasyev, who we had on the show yesterday. Askarev is going to be in between the pipes. So be looking for that tomorrow starting at 10:30 right here on 102.5 and 106.3 The Game and the Game Nashville app. And then following the game, Willie and Max Hers will take it home to 2 o'clock. And then myself and the suit will take it home the rest of the day from 2 until 6. So that'll be some scheduling tomorrow for our live show. So keep that in mind. Marlins and Pirates right now, 1-0 in the 8th. It is a barn burner. I mean, I'm on the edge of my seat.
There's been so many wacky,
honestly, many wacky plays.
There's been some wacky plays in this game.
But we're not going to really talk about that because we want to keep everybody with us. So
yes, we do.
We're just telling you, you're missing an unbelievable.
It's a barn burner.
Marlins, Pirates. It doesn't get any better. So let's talk about JT Miller. That, Elliot, I got to be honest, kind of got me, my juices flowing. Yeah, I was got a lot more excited. But here's my concern about JT Miller. As you start, we were ready to offer the city. You're all of a sudden, I heard that little first round thing you kind of threw out there, first round pick on the way out.
I tossed it.
You did. You tossed it out there. I saw
Just
it.
for discussion.
I tossed
it out there for discussion.
Here is my concern. With that being said, as excited as I got, let me take a drink. I just want to take a swig before we go down this road. My concern, Willie, is why does last season, look like Brady Anderson's one season with the Orioles? Do you get the reference as we were talking baseball?
Oh, yeah.
At the beginning. Why does it look like a Brady Anderson 50 home run season And then all the other seasons are like 12 and 14 home runs.
I wouldn't say it's 12 or 14 home runs. If you take a look, he's been a very consistent 20-plus goal scorer.
Not really.
Yes.
Well, not really.
Okay, 2021, 53 games. Remember, it's a short season. You had 15 goals,
Okay.
46 points. That's close to a point per game.
Okay.
Now, I admit, last year was a Brady Anderson 1996. There's no question. He blew up, 99 points.
That's my point.
But
his best year before that was the season before that, 72 points. And then everything else is like 40s and 50s.
Okay, what's wrong with 72 points?
There's nothing wrong. I'm saying overall in his career, this is a decade. Rangers, a couple years with Tampa.
Age 22 to 24,
Vancouver.
he had 22 goals 3 straight years, 22, 22, 23. When he was in his low 20s, he's a legit second-line upgrade, huge second-line upgrade.
I agree, but last year's the kaboom, 99 points?
Okay, if you're trading him
Why?
and thinking you're getting 99 points, then you're going crazy. You're looking for a guy that is going to be a massive upgrade on your second line for 1 year. What's that worth?
Okay.
I'm with you. I am not worried. I'm not expecting anything close to 99 points. That would set the all-time Predators record. But he could have 70 points, and I'd be thrilled.
I mean, that's 27 points over his highest season in his career.
He had a career year.
That's a little bit alarming. That's all I'm saying. It's a little bit.
I'm judging him. I'm judging him on the years before that, and I would take any one of those years, with the exception of 1 or 2. I would take that, and I would be thrilled. Between 50 and 70 points, somewhere in there, that's outstanding.
So, with that being said, right, that's where he is. He's in the range game.
Luke
which is
Cunningham
a
had
pretty big
22
range.
points last year,
Again,
playing a lot of second line.
If you have a pulse, basically, unless you're not the guy at Weekend at Bernie's, it's going to be an upgrade. Okay?
The guy at Weekend
as
at
Bernie's, as long as you're not Bernie, it's an upgrade.
That would be lower than Luke Cunningham, 13 goals, 9 assists. Okay.
Okay,
we agree
so
on that.
If it's a guy that's on strings and people are dragging him around the ice, then that's not going to be an upgrade from Cunningham.
A fire hydrant, that would be probably lower.
We could give the examples of where they're going to be the bar was less than Luke Cunningham.
Would you take it?
I'm
Okay,
not doing it first.
Also remember, Darren, the 72-point season was in 69 games in the shortened bubble year. Okay, and then he helped them beat the defending champions in the playoffs. So he has been really, really good.
I don't want this to come off as
46 points in 53 games. If you move that out to 82 games, that's another 65, 70-point year. He's been really good.
But you'd have to admit, then all of a sudden there was a kaboom last year. And I'm just wondering let's just go with, on average, 60 points. So
I would sign up for that
as I am,
in a moment.
As excited as I am, first-round pick, I'm not doing that. No, I'm passing. Not for 1 year, no.
Oh, you know what? I think you're probably out of the. I'm telling you, you got to be creative. If it's not a first, then you got to bring something to the table to get this done, I think. But as we said, there's a lot of teams that have fired their cannons, and they are done. They don't have room to make another deal like that. And Vancouver is sitting there going, we've got to get this off the books. We are over the cap. We've been planning to trade this guy. He's not staying long term. We want Bo Horvat. We've got a lot of other young players. We just signed for this other guy. That's where I think David Poyle's patience could pay off here. But if you wait too long, all of a sudden you get the Max Pacioretty. Oh, he's going to so-and-so? We could have done better than that. There had to be a little bit. I don't know how much they really vetted the Max Pacioretty thing. I would imagine they had to have. And maybe the answer was, dude, we're not giving him to somebody in the West. But when that news came down, Max Pacioretty was given away for nothing. That had to have people scratching their head.
Okay, can I bring something else to the table?
So Vancouver's got to be sitting there. Maybe the market for JT Miller isn't what we thought it was.
Okay, can I bring something else to the table?
Bring it on. This is why we have these conversations, Darren. We are amateur GMs.
I have also received a text, a personal text, and I'm going to leave their name out of it, and I'm just bringing this to the table because I don't know, but I'm going to ask you. Do you know anything about his nightlife? Because it's being questioned that he's Del Zotto with talent. In other words, he likes the nightlife.
Well, I heard
he
Elliott
likes to have a lot of fun.
Well, I don't know if
after
Max
games.
can find it, but I'm guessing that's what Elliott was referring to. He brought that up.
Okay, I'm just
without using that specific of a term.
All right. Okay, so
it's a 1-year deal. It's a 1-year deal.
Does that bother you?
Not if he scores 25 goals and gives me 60 to 65 points in a 1-year deal. I'm looking for 1 year. I'm not worried about after this year.
What if I told you he could hang with Jordan Tutu in his heyday?
Look, I think guys are going to be professional. If he unless you're telling me he's going to show up on the radar for the police, shows. What was the show? Taking Back the Nights. Remember Taking Back the Nights? I got a JT Miller over here. Like the late night police scanner show. There used to be a show on a station we worked for way back in the day where through the middle of the night, we had a radio show, a guy would host, and he would have access to the police scanner, and whatever came up that night, he would just be reporting that.
Yep.
It was quite the show. So if you're telling me JT Miller's going to be on there more than once, then I don't know.
But he's going to be in and out of jail. I didn't say that. I just said, what if he enjoys a full-time nightlife after games?
I'm telling you that Vancouver is a town that he has spent 3 years in, and there's a nightlife there. He spent 5 years with the Rangers. I think there's nightlife there.
Is there in the Big Apple?
He has made it for 9 years. No, 11 years in the league.
I just said I'm presenting it to you. That's all I'm saying. And
Possibly.
Does that concern you at all? Would that concern you?
Look, this is why you do the research. You have people to bring these questions up there. But I like the production. But do we want to replay what Elliott said? Because he kind of hinted that, kind of threw that in there. Just kind of, he's kind of a strong personality. I don't know what he chose his words carefully.
Does Max have it? Or can he maybe find it on the other side?
Yep. Or yep.
We'll play it
right now.
Yeah.
Be to a team that wants to re-up him long term.
No, I don't think there's any rules there. First of all, I'm a big JT Miller guy. I love the way he plays. I really do. He's a bit of his personality is definitely edgy. There's no question about that. And he really has a major presence in a room. But, that's not a big deal. We all deal with edgy people all the time. I really like Miller a lot. I think Vancouver.
Okay, so there you go.
So I don't I didn't.
Edgy.
Yeah.
Personality.
Okay.
I don't know if that's what he was implying.
Is he saying he's a jerk? But I was talking about the night. I mean, I don't know.
Well,
I don't know.
Really,
I don't think I'm taking.
What are we talking about with the nightlife? Are we talking beyond? There's a lot of guys that enjoy the nightlife. They are. They do.
Well, Willie, if I'm bringing it up,
is he being unprofessional? He doesn't miss that many games. He played 80 games last year.
The suggestion to me was, be careful. He's definitely a guy that enjoys the nightlife, and
okay,
you could take that however you want.
Let me present it this way, Darren. He's a guy that is trying to cash in on a next big contract. He's got 1 year left. If you're telling me he's going to be so self-destructive that in a contract year he's going to drink himself into the gutter and end up on the police scanner shows, then I'm hard-pressed to believe that. For a guy that has scored 99 points, 46 in 53 games in a shortened season the year before, 72 in 69 games in a shortened season the last 3 years. He's put up 3 great years playing for Vancouver.
Yeah.
That's a nightlife.
Yeah, okay.
You got nightlife there.
Look, maybe the nightlife is the nice restaurants in Vancouver. They got great restaurants. I don't know. Maybe that's the nightlife.
I'm not pretending to know. I don't have any idea. But you got a couple of guys. A guy you just acquired in Ryan McDonough that might know a thing or two about the nightlife.
Yeah, there you go.
He might be able to give you some insight.
We will come back and wrap up Thursday's edition. It's been a fun show, fast-moving show. Fun edition of the DDC next.
Let's put the green flag in the air and turn them loose.
Nashville's home for NASCAR.
He's going to try to make a big move here.
It's brought to you by the Nashville Fairgrounds Speedway. We are your racing station.
ESPN
1025 and 1063 The Game. And the Game Nashville app.
From the Fox 17 News Code Red Weather Center.
I'm Fox 17 meteorologist Greg Bobus. Staying dry but also staying warm. Our streak of 90-degree days will continue. The next 3 days, low to middle 90s and increasing humidity into the weekend. All 3 of those days loaded with sunshine as well.
Brought to you by Hiller Plumbing, Heating, Cooling, and Electrical.
Call the happy face truck today.
Join MTSU head football coach Rick Stockstill and the Blue Raiders as they hit the street for the Blue Raider Blitz Caravan across the mid-state. Each stop will feature free food, giveaways, and a chance to hear from Coach Stockstill on the upcoming Middle Tennessee football season. To see when the caravan is in your town, head to mtalumni.com/blitz to register to attend. That's mtalumni.com/blitz.
Have you seen the selection of luxury pre-owned Rolex watches they now have at Genesis Diamonds? If not, prepare to be amazed.
If people really know the watch world, they come in and they're in shock. They're like, I cannot believe you have this selection here. They're able to see them, touch them, feel them.
Meet Genesis watch expert Charlie Rivers, who says over the past few years, Genesis buyers have scoured the world to build a collection of luxury pre-owned Rolexes, including all the hard-to-find models.
Daytonas, Pandas, Sky Dwellers, a huge selection of Submariners, Hulks, Kermits, anything that you could ever possibly want. We have every luxury pre-owned Rolex that we have here. We ensure that it's in pristine condition.
So come in today and find the timepiece of your dreams at Genesis. Or if you already own a Rolex and are looking to trade for a different model or even sell it, Genesis can help you get top dollar.
If you have a Rolex, definitely bring it in. I would love to see it and do a complimentary evaluation on it and see what we can do for you.
Genesis Diamonds, now with one of the largest selections of luxury pre-owned Rolexes in America. Green Hills and Cool Springs.
Houston Clinic Orthopedics wants to thank their patients for voting them the #1 orthopedic practice in the Nashville Scene Poll for 3 years in a row. Their physicians specialize in spine, joint replacement, knee, hip, upper extremity, and other orthopedic conditions. At Houston Clinic Orthopedics, they adhere to all CDC guidelines for the patient's and staff safety. To experience world-class orthopedic care and see a list of all physicians, visit their website at tn.houston.com and book your appointment online today.
Robbie Stanley.
They get a lead in that game and just totally close the door.
Joe Rexroad.
If he plays next year, it's disastrous.
Robbie and Rexroad. Mornings from 6 to 10 on Nashville's best sports talk.
ESPN
1025 and 1063 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app. You're listening to the DDC.
Presented by Spring Hill Heating and Cooling.
On ESPN 1025 and 1063 The Game. And on the Game Nashville app.
We would like for you to help us and Newton Motor Group this summer. We're trying to help kids here in Middle Tennessee in our area. We've teamed up with Souls for Souls, and, man, we would like to give them some shoes for children experiencing homelessness in our area. School's just around the corner. It's coming back. The goal is to raise $20,000, which will help provide 1,000 pairs of shoes for kids. But we certainly can't do it without your help. If you can help in any way, go to thegamenashville.com/shoes. All donations will go directly to Souls for Souls and helping out the kids that are dealing with homelessness in our area. So help out if you can. thegamenashville.com/shoes. Newton Motor Group is a proud sponsor of Souls for Music City. Newton Motor Group, the best car deals in Nashville start at Newton. Barrett in the Burrows got a question for you on the text line, driven by WilsonCountyHyundai.com.
Is this the daily what's the plan? I'm still getting those.
He says, I know, he says that you've got the Predators plan. He said, heck, you've even taken a step further. You've got the plan for America. But he said, please share with all of us the plan to get Darren out of the doghouse in his comment of best time in Chicago.
Oh man, I would really like to help you with that one, Darren. But
you're walking away, aren't you? You're staying out.
That is, you have dipped
You're
your
saying
toe
I'm on my
into
own.
some hot water.
I'm on my own. Yep, I'm on my
Yeah.
own. Thanks, wingman. There's your plan, Barrett. He's staying the heck out of it. In other words, I've got to dig myself out of it. That's fine. I'll put in the work.
I said those exact words to a teammate of mine at Vanderbilt, who my college girlfriend at the time. We set these two up on a date, and it was started off okay, and then it kind of went crazy, and he was lamenting to the guys in the suite, and he turned to me. He said, "What do I do?" I said, "I got you into this. I can't get you out of it."
Good answer.
And I didn't get you into this, Darren. You did this all on your own. I didn't prompt you. You started going on. You brought up the pub crawl. You started talking pub crawls. I gave you my story. Everybody was excited, and then you stepped in it.
I stepped in the manure right from jump today.
I mean, it was woo.
It was quick.
Can we just repeat real quick for the people who didn't hear this? Darren said his greatest day in Chicago was involving a pub crawl.
No, beer and inning at a Cubs
game.
And
inning at a Cubs. Yeah, okay. So a beer and inning at a Cubs game, and he was quickly reminded that he proposed to his awesome wife, Lauren, also in the city of Chicago. So the label of best day in Chicago.
Huh?
Whoops.
Question mark? And I was like,
the one-word text.
Oh, you're listening to that, huh? Yeah. Okay. Backpedaling quickly. Yeah. I
you were thinking Ferris Bueller's Day Off. That was a great day, but not like the day we had at Wrigley Field or whatever. And forgot about the engagement in Chicago.
On the 96th floor of the John Hancock building.
Whew, woo.
Yeah. All right, let's stay down in the borough.
The anniversary coming up there.
Is this show over yet? No, we still got more time. Let's stay down in the borough. Matt on our text line. We've been talking a lot today about the next move. He said, how about, and we've had this one before, how about the Predators trying to go after Patrick Laine in Columbus?
No way.
Yeah, it's just not going to happen.
Well, this is why I say that. Number one, based on what David Poyle told us, that's not in the budget. After signing Johnny Gaudreau, says they absolutely intend to sign Patrick Laine, who's a restricted free agent. You would have to trade for his rights first and then sign him to a big dollar deal. It doesn't fit.
Well,
now,
when you bring in Johnny Hockey, you're not going to let Laine go out the door. There's no way.
I think you're right.
They're going to build around those two.
So.
True?
Yeah, and how do you make a Laine deal work with the money? They're talking about $8 million a year for Laine. And to me, that's too much for him. He's a goal scorer, and that's it. He has not really proven to be a winning player beyond that. But like I said, they want fully to go after signing him. I'm just going by what the GM said. The byproduct of that is they're over the cap, and we mentioned a guy like Gus Nyquist. I know that doesn't excite you like Patrick Laine, but again, looking for one guy for 1 year. That's I think the focus of what the Predators are doing here.
I did say yesterday that a deal would not get struck by David Poyle. And you and the suit said a deal would.
Yeah.
So,
whoops.
Here we are again. Is anything happen from now until our show tomorrow, which will be a little bit different than normal,
tomorrow will be so that'll be interesting. The futures game, whatever you want to call it, the prospect showcase, is that what we're calling it, the official title? Prospect showcase tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. Now, multitasking comes to mind, right? You want to be watching very closely. How does Askarov look? You've been watching him all week. How about some of the other prospects? But at the same time, you're working those phones, and you're wanting to see what's out there. It could happen tomorrow, and it could happen August 15th, for all we know.
I do not believe that a deal will get. I'll just go on and put it out there again. I don't think anything's going to happen again from when we say goodbye here in a couple minutes to tomorrow's show or tomorrow. I don't think anything's going to happen.
Okay. I think you're probably right.
I don't think anything's going to happen.
I think you're probably right.
I think this is going to have to shake out a little bit. I think right now with the price tags, if the sticker price is too much and you just can't come to agreements on that car, do you go running back first thing the next morning? I don't think so.
Well, what today is an interesting indication because everybody couldn't wait yesterday, and then today has been very quiet. And there's still several pretty good names out there.
Yep. Unnamed texter says Patrick Laine looks like Bigfoot from Harry and the Hendersons. I have said on this show, I really would have to backpedal if they did trade for Laine because I have called him the ugliest man in hockey. I have said that before on the show.
See, I think what people have to realize is once they made the deal for McDonough, making a pitch for a restricted free agent high-end like Pierre-Luc Dubois or Laine, it's just the budget's not there.
Nope. Willie, I've got some work to do, courtesy of myself. So
okay, good luck. Good luck.
Hopefully, talk to you tomorrow. Hopefully.
Okay.
Make sure you're listening to Willie.
We'll check in on
you. Mace. They drop the puck at 10:30 tomorrow for that showcase game. Hope you'll check it out and then coverage following that as well. Have a great rest of your day. We look forward to talking to you tomorrow morning starting at 10 o'clock to wrap up the week. We'll see you then.